What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to your match review for Brentford 2, Chelsea 2. I am your host, Marshalldbdx, accompanied by the panel of Oliver, Real Chris, and Ahmed. And as always, guys, before we go ahead and start the show, smash up the like buttons and subscribe. We are only 9 subscribers away from hitting that 2.5 mark that I've been trying to hit. I would really appreciate it if you guys can help me out with that, since 60% of you guys that do watch have not subscribed. So checking the facts there, I can prove it in the next stream. I'll have the little thing and show you guys the 60 percentile that are not subscribed. So don't be part of the 60%. Be part of the don't be part of this. Fucking prick. Don't be part of this.
I know who it is. That's why I'm saying that, by the way. I wouldn't prick otherwise.
Don't be part of this. But hold on, I have to just for the band. 5 minute time. 5 minute timeout.
Yeah, you can hold it. Hold it.
But big up everyone. So just quick summary of the match. We opened up the scoreboard with a brilliant header from Jackson, which made up for the absolute howler that he had earlier when well, maybe it made up for it, but he had an absolute howler earlier in the match where he missed an open net. Essentially, he didn't miss; it got just blocked because just whatever. Fuck, I don't want to revisit this. Okay, but yeah, Jackson, brilliant cross from Malo Gusto, right onto Jackson's head, deflects it, puts it right into the back of the net. Brilliant headed goal from Jackson, which we want to see more of. Then we go into the half with the lead. Second half of the match starts, and shortly after the start, very jammy, multiple defensive errors made by Chelsea that led Mads Roerslev in for the tying goal. Now it's 1-1. We go later into the match, and an absolute ridiculous goal, which is now the thumbnail of the video that you're watching. Absolute ridiculous worldy goal from Wisa. Can't really get too upset about that. But what I can get upset about is the fact that we didn't really create much in this game, which was absolutely pitiful to see up until maybe towards the end. And then we had Axel Disasi, who took advantage of the fact that the goalkeeper can't see because the sun is right at his eyes, and actually managed to score a goal. So big up to Axel Disasi. But it's another game of the team looks out there. It doesn't seem to be some type of direction. Enzo isn't looking at his best. Jackson today didn't make much of an impact outside of that goal. He missed a chance. Cole Palmer, as well. Not a good game from Cole Palmer at all. Hard to say. Mudryk did look interesting when he came on. I would say that it looked like him playing him as a 10 may have unlocked some type of utility for him. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, this game was very, very, very bang average. I mean, don't let me tell you. I'll let Jimmy say it. Bang average. So it was just So. Yeah, Steve, I got you, man. I'll send you over the link in just a minute. And yeah, pretty much M3 right there. Oh, wait, wrong one. Whoops. Damn. Sensitivity on this thing, man. Yeah, quick summary. We are mid. And it was a mid. And that what we saw today was very mid. I guess I'll bring it off to you guys. Because I was just so unenthusiastic about the match. I was uninspired. It was just not a good match to watch. So, Ahmed, talk to me, bro.
What is there to talk about, man? Listen, man, up the chills, up the bevs, you know what I mean? Up everything, man, you know what I'm saying? Listen, man, we live in life's good, man. Life's good, man.
What's that, English?
What's happened? He's had too much to drink already, man. He's
you know, say,
Jesus, Ahmed,
bro. You just had words and things came out of your mouth, but no one understood anything.
No, but on a serious note, listen, on a much more serious note,
yeah.
You know what I mean? What do we expect? I know me, Marshall, all of spoken about the same shit again and again and again.
Gets tiring, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what's gonna happen. You know, today we tried a back three today. You know,
Yeah, that was weird. Speak on that, man.
Every single game, bro, we just keep on seeing he can't do a back four, he can't do a back three. We have guys like Chalobah, Finito, Disasi today, cooked. Like, he was doing basic defensive errors today. I'll be honest about him in particular. Who's the other guy that was the other centre back? Levi Cole. I think he was the best out of the three, I would say, today. You've then got Chilwell. You know, you would think that this would unlock Chilwell, an AF Chilwell, you know what I mean? Prime Chilwell under Tuchel, you know what I mean? I didn't see anything. And this is something that I've said about previously, where I feel like with him in particular, whereas with the other guys, yeah, I can at least say, you know, there's something of the matter of they're still young. I can still see signs of them developing and everything like that. With Chilwell, I really feel like, bro, we've reached the end of my guy, if that makes sense, respectfully. And if you go what I mean. Caicedo today, Enzo today. Caicedo, bro, and Enzo, bro, they're looking like, bro, you know what I mean? They're looking like, you know, something that I would expect to see my dad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like seeing my dad on the pitch. Like, you know, I know he's not going to be, you know what I mean? I know he ain't got the engine. You know what I mean? But, like, he can do, he can play for like 5-10 minutes, but, like, he ain't got the engine the last 90 minutes. And, like, these guys are cooked, tired, and, like, those two are meant to be in the midfield doing stuff. But I'm seeing Enzo on the wing. You know what I mean? Wing duty Enzo. What's going on, bro?
I think
Enzo was all over the place today.
Like,
Enzo was absolutely all over the place today. I was like, no,
I don't know,
no
man.
intent.
I feel like with him, like he's almost trying to use him like he's he's almost trying to make him like this guy that can be played anywhere and he can work. I feel.
But he's not that guy.
But it's not you know. And again, he doesn't have the engine right now because he's been overplayed recently. Right, he's playing.
Ahmed, 210 minutes in the last 6 days.
But like this is something I've been saying. Remember when I went to the game against Leeds, I was saying, bro, these guys are finito. These guys look cooked. I'm seeing Caicedo on his knees, pause literally after the game, like right, literally, bro, just like panting. And like the worry that I had here, and I know that Surfer made this point, right, where you know these guys, like he's worried that Poch is gonna run these guys into the ground, such that when the next manager comes in, he's not gonna be able to do that much of them. And that is a valid like worry to have in terms of the attack. I forgot who was playing in the attack for us. It was Palmer Sterling, isn't it? Because we played like a 3-5-2. If I'm not mistaken.
Palmer and Jackson started.
Yeah, I mean there was something. You know, I think for me that he obviously, I think Gusto played really well in terms of the attacking front. Jackson, I think obviously yes, he missed the open goal. Let's not get that twisted. Of course, that's pretty terrible, right? But at least he's able. At least the thing about him that I would say is that yeah, he may have missed the open goal, but he was able to at least within minutes get that opening goal for us. That's the one thing I always give credit to him. And again, you know, I feel like people are putting too much onto a guy we brought for 30 million and that no one had any expectations for. I feel like this is like something that's clearly missing when we speak about someone like Jackson. I'm not expecting this guy to be 100% finished the finished product every single time. You know, every time hearing we should have brought Vlahovic, Listen, big up to Vlahovic, but Vlahovic, I think if I'm not mistaken, they're on a similar goal tally. So,
Vlahovic has been on fire lately.
No. I said similar goal tally. It's in how many goals they've scored
since the new year, bro. He's been on fire, Vlahovic.
No,
I like here's the thing with real quick, Ahmed, about Jackson. I don't mind him. I liked him at Villarreal. You need to bring him a lot. He's not the main entree. Pause. He is a appetizer, a side dish, a side. You bring just like Callum Wilson wouldn't lead a top club to a trophy. He could be a great backup though. Bring him alongside Isak, bring him alongside Vlahovic or whatever big striker you rate or don't rate. You don't just bring in Jackson. That's what it is. I'm not treating him like that.
Like
Nah.
I think what I'm
Some
trying
people
to say,
are though. Yeah.
well, what I think I would say, yeah, and which I agree. I understand that. I still don't mind. I still what's it called? Yeah, I still would have mind having him because the reality is Jackson went for
Yeah.
a month and a half. You could have probably done with having a Vlahovic, right? So that's not the issue. I just think for me, he paid 30 million for Jackson. He scored currently 8 goals for us in the EPL, and I think he's got 1 or 2 assists on top of that. Very decent for a guy that gets barely any service, by the way. So I think so. At the end of the day, there's that. I think again, Palmer, bro. I don't know, man. This guy, Palmer, he's been weirding me out the last few games in the sense that he plays great, he plays bad. You know what I mean? Like you have the DNA, but then you have a bad. It feels like he's having a bad performance. Today, for example, though, I felt like he was trying to do everything he could, like towards particularly when he went to 2-1 to try to create stuff. But like something that we need to really tell Palmer, for example, for me, is that we just tell him to stop shooting. Like whenever like there's actual people in front of you, stop going for the shot. Look for the pass in those actions. You know what I'm saying to you? There's those little niggles in his game that he definitely has to improve when it comes down to it for me. But in general, bro, the setup didn't work, which the manager did. Players are all over the place. Yes, we did create via Gusto being
Hold that.
being a wing back and doing stuff. Did Gallagher start today? Like I didn't. I
think that says everything you need to know.
Even made an impact in the game.
Like usually, I even know when he's playing, but like no, today I didn't really even see him. And again, you know, something that I said about what Poch running people into the ground. Gallagher's getting spun now. He's getting thrown to the ground. The one thing I used to give credit to him for, off the ball when he's facing these guys, he's able to at least do something. He's now getting spun. So, you know, his engine might actually be cooked now. So, damn, it's not looking good, man. I'll be real. Even with him. But, like, you know, it's not great, man. And listen,
you know,
I feel so sorry for Petrovic, you know, and I will repeat this again. Yeah. You know, he feels like, you know, I feel like for him, he's just getting left, hung out to dry. You know, the defense isn't helping him out at all. You know, he can't react as fast enough. You know, he's getting a bicycle kick, getting hit at him, point blank, without any defender realizing. Twice
in the game.
Yeah, point blank, and that's happening. So, like, you know, at what point do we need to say that, you know, we need to look at these defenders? Like, big up to Disasi, you know, I've given him praise, I've defended him, but today was not good enough. And, right? Even he did score. And again, Chalobah's another one, by the way. Chalobah, for me, like, I don't understand. We threw him into like the wild to get him to start, which is what I'm gonna give him. You know, which is the thing I'm going to give him like credit for. Like, we've just thrown him in. That's on the manager, of course. But at the same time, Chalobah should be experienced enough in a 3 to be able to handle the business. And he's looking like he's getting you know, battered down all the time, bro. Literally getting against Leeds. Obviously, we can say that wasn't his man, but today, bro, he's getting bullied, getting bitched. You know what I mean? You know, I always on Instagram, he's always got the pictures of him doing the training, doing the thingy. He got the 6-pack.
The boots on,
you know what I mean? Yeah, no. Like, what's going on then? You know what I'm saying to you? Like,
I thought he had the boots on.
Shut up, Marshall. You know, I'll say to you personally, just shut up, because you can hold it, man. Your boy is not coming.
What am I holding?
Yeah, shut up, man. Yeah. Anyway,
man, and Poch is still in the job. I thought he was gone by Christmas. Santa was going to come back and bag him.
Wait, can I just say, Marshall, you look like you've aged 5 years since I met you at bro, I'm looking at you right now and I'm like, dude, you look fucking miserable, yo.
You look happy, man.
Also, fuck you, but also fuck you,
I'm
but
just
also
saying, man.
it's Chelsea. Chelsea's got me stressed the fuck out, bro.
I can genuinely see you have you've been through the
I mean,
well, have you seen Chelsea, like the last convincing?
Oh yeah, I watched you guys.
No, but like hang on. Do you guys actually know when the last convincing Premier League game Chelsea played? What date? Roughly what month? Do you actually remember?
Date what month?
No, I mean win, sorry. Like win, like convincing win, sorry.
Yeah.
If we're not, you said
December 16th.
Listen, man, the reality, guys,
in the Premier League?
the reality
December
is,
16th.
Kafkas
You look at all the games.
Kafkas, big up Kafkas. He's actually He's like, you know, slotted it in right into for the finish line. About when will it end? The reality is, boys, it's not gonna end until
the season.
May
So, like-
2024, boys. So that's another 2 months, I believe, currently. So listen, I'm sorry to tell you, that win against Leeds, yeah, I cursed it, bro. I've never seen us lose at Stamford Bridge. If we hadn't gone, maybe if I hadn't gone and he lost against Leeds, we could have said he's gone.
Today.
Hey,
No, it's not going to happen. I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you. He is staying here until the end of the season. They're sticking with him.
Well, he stays here.
That's his boy. That is Begdad and Bali's boy. He's got the arm around his shoulder and everything.
He's
Saying
right.
consoling him, it's going to be okay.
He's ready to let him go.
Right. You're
Bedad was at the game, boys. Bedad was at the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cheer him on. Come on, Mauricio.
It was at the
It's like how a father watches his son play. He's not
that's exactly essentially what happened. Yeah.
Listen, I just think for me, boys, listen. I win some and I lose some. I want to give credit to Marshall because Marshall is right. He's gonna basically stay here until the end of the season. Marshall is right about that, and nothing's gonna change about it. Listen, you know, I do genuinely worry now about what's gonna happen in the future for the club. In the sense of, yes, we have this talent. But like the next guy now is so critical to get whoever's next in correct, and the guys that you even bring in that summer correct. That if you don't, bro, it's gonna be big trouble, boys. And I would say that definitively because of the other guys around us now are getting better. And you know, people can say for all they like about United, and what's going on, they are bringing in a proper DUI. They are bringing in guys in positions that's gonna help them out. You've seen what's happened at Aston Villa with Emery. You're seeing obviously Tottenham now, Man City and Liverpool. Liverpool obviously maybe they'll still be able to do something, whether we like to admit or not. That's what I'm saying to you. So there's so many other teams now. I think like you can probably count 7, 8, 9 now teams who are currently much better managed and could be in a decision-making future where they can be. So God, it's a big problem, boys. It's very much so, bro.
Form-wise, we're level like Brighton's form, basically.
So coming back to the conversation about Poch, and then we'll digress into the whole game and other stuff and the players. One thing that has bothered me about Poch, well, many things, but one of the things recently that has bothered me about Poch in these recent games is that I feel I was willing to accept that there's this possibility that prior to that Liverpool Cup match, that he found his best 11. He found some type of tactic that was working for him, that he could potentially turn it around. And then after that match, we started seeing him make and Leeds drastic changes to the lineup, which, okay, fine. You just played a really intense 120 minutes against Liverpool in the prior game, whatever. Then in this game, now reverting to a back three, you have Gusto and Choa playing as wing backs at times today. Just changing the whole lineup of the whole structure that we had. Where before we were saying, me, Scott, most of us on the panel were here saying, this is the lineup you should stick with, barring maybe Benoit Badiashile going forward. And now we're seeing staff changes. Now we're seeing all of a sudden Chalobah's coming back into the team. Now he's playing in the middle of a back three. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why change it? Like, I feel like now he is scrapping around, trying to find some solution somewhere out of anywhere. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just saying, all right, maybe back three, maybe this will work. Maybe this will help. I want to see what Chalobah can do. It's like almost like he's treating this whole thing like a preseason. It really feels like that at times. Like today was almost an example of that. He wanted to bring in players just to experiment. Now we're bringing in Mudryk in the number 10 position, not even playing him at left wing anymore, which I'm not complaining too much about. I'm just pointing out some of these changes that are happening. And I will also mention and add on to this, if anyone wants to bring it up, what's going on. What's going on, Hussam? But the other thing that bothers me too is, how is it that... Yes, 100%. How is it that we can't seem to be playing to the level when we get hit with 2 games a week? Like, this actually concerns me. We're out of Europe. We're supposed to be in much better fitness than what we are right now. And it's not showing in the last few games now that we've had a midweek fixture. So it's concerning to me. I mean, Scott or Oliver or Chris, I mean, what do you guys think about that stuff?
We're basically a PlayStation without a controller. That's why we're struggling. Like,
What?
we can't.
Excuse me?
Like,
What?
You get the point.
What does that
like,
mean?
it doesn't matter what, like, it's obviously the biggest problem right now. I don't
Echo,
know,
what?
like, yeah, the biggest problem obviously with me right now. Like, I know this team isn't perfect, this team isn't great, but Pochettino, like, this team should not be like where it is. It's down to Pochettino as well, and he's a big issue to that. I don't know what the fuck he said to him today, because like in the first, like for example, the first half we was like, you know, doing all right, you know, we was 1-0 up, you know, we was kind of like controlling in a way, like it wasn't too bad. We was creating
Actually, no, we weren't that great in the first half either.
No,
What are you
like,
talking
no,
about?
we was actually like Ento actually created.
We were winning because we scored, but we were struggling to take shots.
Compared to first half, yeah, right. Where Enzo was actually creating a few good chances in that game. Like he was actually
through balls to Jackson.
Yeah, to Jackson and all that. And I think someone else, who I'm pretty sure he threw ball as well. But we was looking all right. They didn't actually threat us. And then the second half, I don't know what changed. Like we went 2-1 down. We was a mess. And then Pochettino's, you know what? We're still sticking with this back five. We were 2-1 down, and you know, we're not really doing much. We just got lucky with a second goal. Like it's not going to change until Poch is gone as well. Like that's when we see maybe some change. We actually see a better manager come in. Hopefully, I can only pray at this point because we got it wrong twice now. So yeah, like it's just, I think it's just obvious. It's just Pochettino is the big issue today as well. Today, like we could have do with Maatsen today, for example. Maatsen is doing well for Dortmund at left wing back. At left wing back, where would you put Maatsen? Oh, you can have Maatsen at left wing back instead of Chilwell, who did fuck all.
Scott, your thoughts, man?
It's a piss take, man.
Just not good enough. Like again, from manager and players, like just not anywhere near the level, and I'm not entirely surprised. I mean, you're playing the players in a system that they haven't played in terms of start of the game the entire season. Every time we've changed to a back three in game, we've looked shit, and it's no surprise that damn near every player on the pitch today looks shit. At least for one of the halves that we played today, some for most of the game. It's just not good enough, and it's just I don't know what to say to it anymore because like nothing's going to change until the end of the season. I'm struggling to understand why Chalobah came back. Like I like Chalobah and I wanted to stay, but I have no idea why he's come back into the team, and he now seems to be ahead of Colwell in the pecking order because that makes sense. You know, you've seen one of these guys the entire season, and he's played okay. Like when he's been a centre back, he's been okay, and he's been playing. And you were told him that you were going to trust him at the start of the season in pre-season. That's why he signed the contract. Excuse me. And then you've proceeded to, drop him or make him the like behind Chalobah, who was going to leave. But yeah, it's just not good enough, and it's just not good enough from some of the players. Like for me, I don't think Enzo and Caicedo did enough today. Like I'm not going to say they were flat out bad. I think I might have said that Caicedo was bad on Lewis's stream earlier. They weren't bad. I just expect more from them because I know how good they can be. Bro, is that Ahmed? Is that your keyboard? Are you typing? Are you on a
Maybe Ahmed's typing like.
Bro, it sounds like he's on a typewriter.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's just.
I was like, I'm just gonna.
Like he's only allowed to use his pointer finger or something.
Fucking Ahmed.
1950. Look at the comment.
Time or something. Like when you're writing, like.
Huh?
Yeah, as I said, it's not good enough. I just expect way more from some of these players, and like just knowing they're good enough. And do you know what the problem is? I like we're saying the same shit every single week. It's the same shit every week, like without fail. It doesn't matter who plays. It doesn't matter what formation we play. It doesn't matter who we play. Like nothing matters. It's the same shit every single week.
But like, don't you think, guys, it's concerning that he's just now? Do you guys think he should have just stuck with what was working against Liverpool?
No,
And
what a
Man
horrible
City.
idea.
It
That's
wouldn't
a
have mattered.
horrible idea.
The same
Well, the
tactic
problem is,
because like
Marshall,
you
the
know
problem is,
Aston Villa, Liverpool, you know.
but
Go ahead.
I think for me, you know, your guy Tuchel, you know, I mean, one of the things we used to credit about
Oh
Tuchel
my
is that, you know,
Oh
he was tactically
No.
malleable. You get me?
No.
You know, we should be as a team tactically malleable enough where if we do want to change our tactics for one game or two games to against a certain side, we should be able to do it. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys we've brought, they can play a secondary position effectively. We're not even asking that many. We're not even asking a lot of the players to change. We're just telling the Sarcasm play as a right-sided centre back in a 3, and then play in a left-sided centre back role. You know, as a play Levi Cole in a left-sided back role, but in a 3. You know what I mean? It's not really that much harder. Your responsibilities aren't, you know, changing as much. So I really disagree with that, bro.
Ahmed, I disagree with what you're saying though, because when the manager has zero tactics, how are the players in the first place fine with their first formation that they're supposed to be familiar with? When they can't, how are they going to be familiar with their second one if they're not familiar with how to play with their first one?
No. But like, I think the question though that Marshall is asking is that should we be able to change it? The point I'm making is that
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, do you guys think it's been backfiring on Poch, changing the tactic and the
Oh,
line
you
he's
mean
had?
like that? Oh,
Because
okay, maybe.
Look at what happened at Leeds. Look at what's happening in this game.
Okay. No, you know what? Fair enough. Because I thought the question you were asking is it confusing the players changing these tactics? And
I mean, definitely, it definitely is. You can see it. Yeah.
But I was making the reason I was disagreeing with that side was like it shouldn't be that much of a difference necessarily when you're in a back 3.
I mean,
for like because like Jackson maybe not. I mean, from how we are playing to what we are doing, not much. Because remember, we're still doing that. Because you still play that 3 something in possession when we're attacking, right? So that's the point I'm trying to make. We're still doing the same thing basically, but instead he just started it off straight away as that, if that makes sense. Rather than
we've never played how we did today, by the way. We've like
no.
We have never.
Ahmed, Scott mentioned this when we were doing the watch along. The guy who's played 3 at the back with Tuchel, who's played right center back, is now playing middle center back in Chalobah, when the guy who is more comfortable probably playing in the middle center back in a 3 at the back is playing right center back when he's the one who gets beat 1-on-1, and he's slow as shit. So if you're gonna have Augusto bombing up, why the hell do you not have Chalobah in the right center back situation? Then freaking Disasi.
Hey, man, listen.
And Disasi can cover the headers that Tony would have. So then he's not getting his ass body.
Do you know what? That's not even the worst bit. Like the what's mad is as stupid as all that is and all the defense was, like that's not even the most egregious bit about the way we played. That midfield today is pathetic. Like at no point this season when we played 3 at the back have we played a 3-1-5-1. Hang on, Marshall. Let me see if I can find the.
Actually, hang on.
Have you seen the pass map, by the way, from us today?
Yeah.
Marshall, I posted it in the chat.
Baby Jesus.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up in a minute.
Nice
Continue what you're saying about the 3-5-1.
Like, bro, when Marshall brings this pass map up, you've got Palmer and Gallagher in the same position basically. You've got 3 number 10s. You've got 1 centre mid by himself in a mile of space, as he was the whole game. And I don't think Caicedo was amazing today, but I don't put that all on him. It's the same with Enzo. I don't think Enzo was amazing today, especially second half. But I don't put it all on him as to why they're not amazing, because Caicedo was 4v1 every single time.
Yep.
You're going to see how deep Chilwell is as well when you look at this average positions. Like for a guy that's supposed to be a bombing wing back.
Jackson isolated, and yet he still scored a good goal. Look at this!
And Gallagher's in the same position as
Huh? Well, listen, why is Chilwell in line with our DM? I want to know that.
Oh my god, yeah, I just noticed that.
No, that makes sense.
He's too deep.
That kind of makes sense. I'm not concerned with the midfield.
It's not efficient.
The wing backs, it's whatever. That midfield, like, what in the fuck?
But we know Caicedo's been like this alone though, like Scott. For how long?
Yeah, but
Like,
Ahmed,
30 minutes?
Ahmed,
But
Ahmed, that's when he's playing with one other person in Enzo, because we know Gallagher doesn't really help. This man was playing in a 4-man midfield today and was still by himself. That is unreal.
I'm not surprised, because that's what Pochettino keeps on doing. It's gonna.
But Ahmed,
go ahead, bro.
you can't. Well, I don't know if Hassam is still here, but you can't criticize that. That's on the player's fault. That can't be Poch.
Okay.
How dare you? Huh?
Yeah,
It's not like Klopp and Liverpool bid 110 million for the same Caicedo he's calling a bum. It's not like he was begging for Enzo or Gusto was one of the best right backs in the league. No, we can't. It has to be on the players because they're overrated. Because not only 6 months ago was everyone begging for Caicedo in everyone's team, bar freaking Man City.
Yeah.
And basically Rice, because Rice was already in Arsenal.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that. We can't have an Nkunku who now we played as a striker when he was the best player in all of Bundesliga last season and one of the best in the past 3 seasons. We can't criticize that. No, we can only criticize the players and never the manager because these players are bums. And we can't criticize the higher ups in hiring the manager, but we can criticize them for buying the players because they're bums, right? Because that's the idea of what every rival fan is now going with this whole BS Poch agenda, right? Once again, Caicedo, like Scott is saying, is left alone. But no, why challenge
People understand, by the way.
offside? It's BS. I'm sorry. I've had enough with these other fans trying to badger us about our club when they were begging for these players of 100 million plus themselves. When Klopp said he would never bid 100 million for these players and he would leave this league. Good thing he's leaving the league then. Good thing he is. I've had enough. Fuck off with your crybaby attitude.
I just want to point something out as well, and I think I've mentioned this on another stream I've been on in the past. I don't know about the club in Ecuador, the Independiente del Valle that he was at, but I'm fairly certain that no club Caicedo has ever been at until Chelsea has he played in a single pivot by himself.
This comment. He's the main problem.
He's
Along with Disasi too.
Well, he came off today and we didn't get he came off today and we didn't get any better. So
yeah, listen, can we be honest, bro? Can we be honest? Yeah, like I will always say, we can criticize maybe the players' like performance levels and everything like that. I always say yes, we can do that, but at the same time, if they have not been set up for success, how much of that blame can we truly put on the players? When I'm look at this, you're basically seeing Enzo is playing for us left mid. He's playing left mid. I don't know, man. Can we check here?
But Chilwell.
Yeah.
No, he was
Enzo.
No, there were
Enzo's playing
times
left
like
mid.
he's done this the whole season, by the way, with Enzo's, and it's like he'll either pick the ball up as a left winger or pick the ball up as a left centre back.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what's
I don't
funny?
know.
It's like it's
But you
not,
know what's
and
funny?
it's just.
You know, I just want to before like I'm gonna have to leave soon. Yeah. The other problem for me, is this. Yeah. Fundamentally speaking, Chilwell today, we need him to be bombing for me. I want to see a prime Chilwell. If we're gonna play back three, I might as well see him. No, I might as well see him just do the attacking stuff that I maybe not so much the rest of the group respect about him. But we didn't even get to see that from him, bro.
Didn't overlap once.
He didn't overlap once.
He had one blocked shot. That's what I can remember.
Yeah, he did,
and
that's it.
Yeah, and then there's another one on the other side. Gusto was looking good, but I'll be honest, man. Gusto is worrying me too because we're killing that guy too. He's another one, where maybe by the time Reece James comes back, and he's playing week in week out, Gusto injury. He might be the next one up.
Bro, that's the problem, and that's the worry I have with Enzo and Caicedo as well, where it's like, this manager and his comments, bro.
Caicedo is literally
his comments about the midfield today. His comments about the midfield today. I nearly lost my head again.
I didn't hear that.
What did he say?
He said that. Can you find the comments, Marshall? I can't remember them verbatim.
He said we don't have any options.
Didn't have an option to take him off today.
Who was on the bench? Who was on the bench? I went to Leicester.
Whose loan we cancelled because apparently we had a plan for him to give him minutes because this motherfucker wanted height. He's played a grand total of about 15 fucking minutes since we cancelled his loan. That was 2 fucking months ago.
Man.
And it's Brentford.
We finished, man.
It's not Man City away. You can't hide behind that being like, I don't want Casually to start Man City away, Liverpool away. I don't know, Man United away, even though they're crap. It's not like you can say, oh, we were facing an almighty team away from home. I can't play Casually. No, he's not right.
At some point as well. At some point as well with our players, you do have to just look at it, right? And go, right, I've got nearly every player playing like shit. Palmer looks like a bit lost at times, and it's got to the point where we're relying on him all the time, like in games, and you can tell we're relying on him because he does too much sometimes, like this game today. He was doing too much, but it's because if he doesn't do anything, there's no one else in the team that's going to do anything. Is the problem. And so we're relying on a 21-year-old who this is his first full season in terms of playing consistent football. And it's like, you can't rely on a guy like that. Same way you can't really rely on a guy like Nkunku because it's his first season in the Prem. And you shouldn't be relying on guys like that. Like, especially, like, you can rely on them if they're, Hazard level, Neymar level at his prime, Messi, Ronaldo, these type of guys, guys in their prime, or the team is in a better way. You look at how, because someone tried to use the example when I brought this up on Lewis's channel of, but look what Wayne Rooney did when he went to United, despite the fact that team had Ronaldo and Giggs and Roy Keane and Paul Scholes and all these other guys in the team. And they were just coming off a goal-scoring season from Ruud van Nistelrooy as well, and had about 1 million other players that were world-class. But anyway, like, that's the thing, is he could go in that team, and even if he didn't do well, it was fine because they had Ronaldo, they had, Giggs, they had Van Nistelrooy, Keane, Scholes, them man, right? And that's the thing, is Palmer can have these type of games once in a while, and that's fine. Yeah. But then who else is stepping up? It's no one. Like, we saw even Jackson today, right? I thought he had a good game, or like a decent game, right? But he gets 3 chances in a game, he scores 1, and he gets no help. He was isolated the whole game. And it's just
we are still doing hoofball to this guy. He was facing Brathwaite again, hoofballing, and he was somehow beating his ball. Like, what are we? Big 2023, and we're doing hoofball to him. I said, come on, man, Lordy Lord, man. I just don't know at what point do we just have to say, Mamma Mia? You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta say it, bro. Like, I don't know why we keep on doing that to him. We're playing 3 at the back. We should be secure of the ball.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, but also as well, because like, I don't think people understand as well with the Enzo and Caicedo thing. We have seen 5 different managers. It's the same argument I made about someone else. I've made about someone else previously. But we have seen 5 separate managers for both players in total get more out of them than this manager has. You've got both their international managers. You've got Potter and De Zerbi and Schmidt. That's 5 managers have got more out of those 2 players than
I would argue Lampard.
Throw Lampard in.
Lampard's got more out of
If you want to be shameless for a Lampard, that's 6. 6 managers got more out of these players than this manager has. That tells you something.
Oh my God, chill out, man. That is a crazy comment, by the way.
Is he wrong? No, Ahmed.
What do you mean? Is he wrong? What the hell is that, man?
No. He's not talking about my comment, Steve. He's talking about a comment that's in the chat.
Yeah. What was the comment?
That's insane.
Bruno Saltor. Oh my God.
Lordy Lord.
No, the comment above this one.
Again, if you want to be shameless, that's 7. Like, but you know what? Like, you get my point. It's like, at sooner or later, there's an outlier here. Like, there's one outlier here, and that's Poch.
Man, he needs time. He's good with young players, man.
Man, I'm saying too much. I should wait, you know what I'm saying? No, that's fair enough, man. Oh my goodness.
But no, you know what, Scott, what you were just saying, I did want to. All right, do your thing, man. Appreciate you coming on as always. Yeah, have a good day. But building off of what Scott was saying, it does bring me back to this comment I saw earlier, which I was kind of interested in picking you guys' brain about. Camille says here, guys, not gonna lie, rivals are right about Enzo and Caicedo, because explain to me why Kobe Mainu is out playing our midfielders with a shit manager and shit players too. I mean, listen, I agree that the players around him aren't necessarily the best. They're pretty shit. However, Ten Hag, as much as you don't want to rate him, as much as at times it looks like whatever's happening on the pitch is clueless, he has some semblance of tactics and some semblance of order and what the players need to do on that pitch. It's just I'd rather have Ten Hag in this team with Chelsea struggling to play beautiful football, but at least getting results than what I have right now. Like right now, the players look absolutely clueless on the pitch. Whereas with Ten Hag's situation, sometimes these players just aren't fucking putting in the work that they should. And Marcus Rashford's one of those biggest examples of that.
Also, Kobe Manu is also, let me just add this into some context as well. Like, I agree with that kind of general. It's not an unreasonable comment, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be discussing about it really any further. What it is that Kobe Manu, this is his breakout chance, his opportunity to stake his claim in that midfield. He's got a little bit more motivation into it, you could say. Same thing with Lewis Miley to an extent, right? Breakout middle of the season. We got the injury crisis at Newcastle that's slowing down, thankfully. Except an all right bet. But they're like, that still doesn't mean that they're perfect. And also the fact that with Manu and them, he does have a bit more experience around him in midfield. But like, he still isn't perfect. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a decent point. Maybe someone else want to elaborate on it.
I'll explain the United thing in very simple terms. Like, the fact is, they actually play a double pivot, and we don't do that.
Yeah.
You go back to the passing map and the average positions. You know, that is not a double pivot. That is, and it's not just today when we're playing a midfield 3 or whatever it was. It's every single game. We apparently line up in a 4-2-3-1, but there's no actual pivot there. Enzo's playing second striker. And we saw what happened when Ten Hag did the exact same thing when Mount was playing for United and they had him and Fernandes as the 8s. Casemiro was getting absolutely burned. And that's the same thing that's happening to Caicedo.
And maybe, hey, chat. I see the chat saying maybe.
More than that as well. I'll be real, it's more than that as well. It's expectation. That's what it comes down to. Minu's got no expectation on him. He can play like shit and it doesn't matter because he's Kobe Minu and he's 18.
Yeah.
Like, it does not matter.
He's
had shit games this season. He was directly responsible for them conceding a goal or conceding goals in games. But it doesn't matter. It's the same with Lewis Miley. It doesn't matter because they're 18-year-old in their first ever season in the Premier League and there's no expectation on them.
There's no choice if he can play.
So they can fuck up and there's no problem if they fuck up. Like if Caicedo just came from Chelsea's academy or cost us 10 mil and played the way he's played this season,
nobody would give a shit.
No one cares. No one's talking about him the way
he would have more.
The reason why rival fans want to talk is because the price tag. That's it.
Of course. And you know what's funny? Actually, building on what you just said as well,
no one was talking about this. Hang on, no one was talking about this and talking about Caicedo like this when Arsenal were linked with him last January, when they put that £60 million bid in, when he was playing like he was last season. No one was talking about Caicedo at that point. When Enzo was destroying that World Cup and making that his bitch after one game on the bench, comes in immediately, changes that midfield for Argentina. When no one was talking shit like this.
Yeah. Bro, Benfica, I watch almost every Benfica game and still haven't replaced him. And Benfica hasn't been consistent like they were the last half of since last season, since January, since Enzo left.
It just goes to show how good of a player Enzo is. It's just being misused. But you know what's funny? Building off of what Scott's point is that it's really funny, and I want people to chat to catch this, right? It's really funny how rivals and other Chelsea fans will they will blame the players when we lose, but they'll praise the manager when we win. It's not one or the other. If it's going to be one, it has to be both. So that's like one thing like I've been clocking recently too with the rivals, especially. Like a lot of the consistency issues, yes, maybe it is from a young team. Obviously, having these injuries reoccurring in training is another issue as well, and not having the consistent lineup. But at the end of the day, it doesn't help when your manager comes in here and constantly one, doesn't give you any direction. Two, he's shifting you to telling you to go up on the pitch, play more on the left side. Then he's telling you, oh, but support Caicedo in the pivot more often and all this and that. Like, it's very easy for a player like Enzo and Caicedo for their levels to go down. That's why we're seeing it. Like, people, I remember earlier in the day, we were talking about Vlahovic, bringing Vlahovic to, or earlier in the stream, actually, we're talking about bringing Vlahovic to Chelsea. I guarantee you, under this manager, if you bring Vlahovic to Chelsea, you get the same Vlahovic that we've seen for the last 3 seasons before joining from Fiorentina. Like, we're not going to get a good Vlahovic. I doubt that Pochettino would get the best out of Vlahovic. Now you look at what Juve is doing and how they're restructuring under forgot the manager's
Allegri.
name. Allegri. Yeah. How they're building now under Allegri, and how Allegri seems to have some type of structure and some type of thing going for Vlahovic. Now you see Vlahovic coming to and being the player that we all potentially, most of us knew he could be. So it's just like, and Prime, I'm glad you just joined us, because that brings me into the next thing too. It scares me, because if we bring Osimhen, it's going to be the same bullshit. Osimhen's not going to solve anything if there isn't a manager that can, tactically set up this team well.
Oh, none of these strikers that you guys are looking for are going to solve anything. I watched Gilchrist play against. I was on Steve's stream, Benfica on was it Thursday or Friday?
Sporting Thursday.
Yeah, I watched that game. He was good, but like the first half, I was saying this to Steve. He seemed like a bit of a bully, barging through players, and that might lie in the Portuguese league. But I don't think you can bully your way through Premier League centre backs this season.
But then second prime.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get onto that. I'm gonna get into that. Yeah, about the second half. People can tell me he played Championship, but like, I'll be so real. The Championship is not the Prem. I've seen Tammy ball out of the Championship. I don't. Championship for me is not a standard of football I can use to judge you coming into the Prem. Out there, I say
Championship is very rated.
I don't think either of them are great. Whatever, I don't care. But yeah, the second half, he impressed me with how he was like dropping deep and linking play. Gilchrist looks good, but again, I do have. You say Gilchrist like Gilchrist.
I thought you said
Gilchrist. I thought you said Alfie Gilchrist. It's Gilchrist. Gilchrist.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm told he does.
It's Ronaldo.
Well. He doesn't. Listen, I'll be so real. Like, he doesn't deserve me pronouncing his name properly. But anyway, this big four guy.
Fair enough.
He what worries me is this is his first actual season doing this on any sort of stage, and part of this revamp, while we're signing all these quality, talented young players, is that we were supposed to find the next Enzo before we spend 100 mil on him for having one good season. We're supposed to find the next Caicedo. We're supposed to find the next big striker, so we don't have to waste 100 mil on Osimhen. Why didn't we do that last summer and sign Gilchrist after that season in the Championship? We didn't do that. Instead, we bought Jackson. Jackson comes in. Jackson's on course to score 15 goals in the Prem and get about 25-ish in all competitions. Maybe because I don't watch Gilchrist enough, so I don't know. I can't answer this, but is Gilchrist better than Jackson? I keep asking stuff like that because it's one season, and is missing out on a player like Osimhen just because Gilchrist is over it. Gilchrist, like, for me, he's no different than what Piatek did a few seasons ago. He had one breakout season, then disappeared. Jovic, same thing. And I'm not saying he might end up like that. He might end up being one of the next big strikers, but he needs. I don't think spending 80 plus mil, 100 mil is worth it for a guy who's had one season, because all of the negatives people want to tell me about Osimhen, a lot more of them apply towards Gilchrist. He's only had one season. He's never done it before in multiple leagues. He's not handled pressure before. He's not won anything on a big stage. He's not carried his team to win anything. Osimhen's done all of that. People can say he flopped in the AFCON final, but he also carried his club to win the Serie A. First time now he has done that since Maradona was playing football. Yeah, that's not something to just sleep on. Osimhen's been scoring goals in. He played in the Belgian league. He played in Germany. He's played in France, and now he's doing it in Italy. And again, my opinion on Osimhen necessarily doesn't really matter, because if we get the right manager, we should get players that suit how he wants to play. And if that means getting Press over Osimhen or whatever, I'm cool with that. I don't really mind. But the way people treat Osimhen as if he's not good, or as if he's just in another Lukaku regen, when those same things also apply to Gilchrist, I really don't understand that. I really don't understand.
I mean, again, it goes back to what I was saying before. None of this is going to change unless there's a different manager. Style of play, or that has something that suits these players, gives these players, like today, for example. I'm not putting too much onus on Jackson. Yes, he missed a really clear opportunity, but he didn't have too many opportunities to do anything today. And I know you guys have heard me here before. I don't really rate Jackson when it comes to the finishing, but even today, he wasn't involved in the game enough to do the other things that I like about him. The hold up play, the dribbling, like it was just so lackluster. It really, really there's so many points in the game. I'm just like, what are we doing? What is the plan here? What is our form of attack here? Like, what? How are we approaching this game? How is Poch approaching? I don't think Jackson had a great game at all. I don't think he was involved enough to even merit having a good game. There was times where
he wasn't involved enough, but when he was involved, like he took his. People talk about that open goal, but I'll be so real. I've seen so many players do that. Like, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. It's particularly when he scored his next chance. So
that guises it, but it doesn't take away from the fact that, like, dude, you need to stop taking these extra touches in the box. Just shoot the fucking ball. You got to develop that striker instinct.
We saw how he was being coached. He's not being coached.
No, I get that. But you know what? I'm also not gonna lie. I feel like since AFCON, I feel like Jackson has stepped up his game. I feel like he's starting to come into that striker role, and almost a leadership role as well. He's starting to come into the striker and leadership role into the team, which I appreciate seeing. This is what I want out of him. You know, I bash him a little bit about his finishing, but the header today, the finish against Leeds, that's what I want to see more of. More often.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't remember the goal against Aston Villa. Was that like a tap in?
Yeah.
FA Cup.
Maybe.
It's the FA Cup when we dominated them, and
I can't remember the goal, but he did score. But it's just like, I think he's starting to develop into that player. So I go back to what you had said last stream about, if we can't get our targets like Osimhen or Ivan Toney, do you wait it out with Jackson? Honestly, I wouldn't mind waiting it out with Jackson. Yes, he's going to frustrate me, but at the same time, you know what? I'm starting to see that player that I want to see in him. We should still be trying to find a solution, an alternative, but Jackson, with the proper manager, I think he could do really well.
Jackson frustrates you because he doesn't get many chances per game. So that the 2 or 3 chances.
No, Jackson frustrates me because instead of having that killer instinct, he takes too many touches. He doesn't trust himself to just one-time shoot it.
No. You hear what I'm trying to say? Jackson frustrates people because we don't create many chances for him. But the 2 or 3 he gets per game, more than likely, he's going to have at least 1 or 2 embarrassing misses. If we were constantly creating chances for this guy, yes, he would miss more, but logic dictates that he's also going to score a lot more. Haaland last season, and yes, Haaland's like this free goal scorer, had the most chances missed, or the most big chances missed.
Almost every single top goal scorer in a league or a tournament, they usually lead in big chances missed.
No one's a 1 in 2 striker or a 1 in 3 striker. That's a myth.
Unless
Even
you're a backup.
Messi and Ronaldo were not scoring 1 in 2 or 1 in 3.
Of course, I get that. It's just I want to see him be more aggressive in front of goal instead of trying to take a touch, instead of trying to dribble around.
As do I. But what comes with that is like more confidence. This again, keep saying like it's his first season. If he had a proper coach, because I don't know. I can't look at Jackson and be too critical or too on his neck. Oh, okay, of course he's back. And too critical and too on his neck when I look at Man United, who has spent on Højlund, who cost more than double, and their goal output is kind of similar. And Jackson does more for us than Højlund does for Man United in terms of all-round play anyway. And Jackson is going to end up being, and people also need to remember, this Jackson next season won't be our first choice striker. We'll get an Osimhen or a Gyökeres or whoever. Jackson
or
won't
you're
be our
going to
first.
get someone like Jonathan David, and I'm going to have to explain on Lewis's
more than
stream why
likely-
that's a good player. But
More than
Oh.
likely, I know Man United have spent this. I've got this 27 whatever on Ineos, but more than likely, Højlund will be their first choice next season.
and he's a good player too. If you just give him some service.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
they can
good,
be
but like
parallel,
this whole
yeah.
thing of like let's shit on Jackson, but Højlund needs to be treated like a baby. No,
Right.
Holy shit.
Nah,
I don't believe Højlund shit. By the way, I'm not saying he's shit. I like him, but let's not pretend that Jackson's just a little whatever, a little black kid, and Højlund's this great, amazing player. No, they're both good or they're both bad.
What are you gonna say, Curry Pirate? You looked like you were gonna say something.
Yeah, I have some counterpoints to Prime.
Of course you always do, man. Of course you always do.
So good Curry.
Get ready, boys.
Yeah, he was saying like, some players from Portugal, he doesn't know if he can bully like he does in the Prem, like he might in the Prem. But some of the best up and coming defenders and some of the best defenders that have come to the Prem are from Portugal.
Yes.
So if you've handled the championship, which is a quote unquote physical version of the Prem, and now you're handling another league that's apparently as physical as the Prem in comparison with the French league. If you're bullying then where else would you bully, in a sense? My other point would be, once again with Osimhen, the thing is, I'm sorry, this is very reminiscent. This is the exact same play that we had for Lukaku. A man who broke a duck from winning the league after many amount of years. Same with Inter after Juve had that reign of 10 years. They won the league in the 11th year. He was one of the key players to make that happen. He used to bully the defenders and he used to drag them around like a rag doll. He used to be fast and pacey and push the defense up and everything. He used to be decent at link-up play and he could finish. But when actual pressure happened to him, what happened? He had his Tim boots on, and he was 100 million pounds. I'm talking about Lukaku first, and now I'm talking about Osimhen during AFCON.
Osimhen's superior to link up and Lukaku. Let's not do that.
Yes.
Yes, I know, but I'm talking about the first touch.
More agile.
I get it, but Curry, all the worries you have of Osimhen, I have that of Gyökeres. What he's doing is no different from what we've seen.
You know what the thing is? It's also once again the price tag. Gyökeres is apparently reported at 85 million euros, which is about.
He's not worth that. He's not worth that.
He's worth 70 million pounds. That's.
I don't think he's not worth that. He's not worth that.
Do you think Osimhen is worth his price tag of 115 release clause?
No, hell no. I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's
After one
120.
season, and like you said, he's injured.
I said this last summer. I don't believe he's worth over 100 mil. However, if we're spending big money on someone, I'd rather do it on someone who's proven. I'd rather do it on Osimhen and do it on someone that's only had, again, this one season Gyökeres is having. It reminds me so much of Piatek. It reminds me so much of Piatek.
Okay, that's fair enough. So then so you want someone who's proven, right? Who's done it year in, year out. Is that what you're saying?
Inconsistent, yeah. But someone who can also handle the Prem. Lautaro, like one, Lautaro's not going to leave Inter. Lautaro won't even leave Inter, by the way. And two,
I agree with that.
I think if we get Inzaghi, yes.
I don't think we get Inzaghi.
I don't think we don't get Inzaghi, but this is the same club who got Conte during Juventus.
I don't think you get Inzaghi.
So I think anything is possible as long as
I don't think we'll get Inzaghi, to be fair. And also, the discussion we were having last stream about Lautaro Martinez, you were talking about playing him as a 10.
right?
Was we?
No, I did not say as a 10. I
don't remember
said
that.
as a partner. No, we never said as a 10. We never
Oh,
said
you said as a partnership. Sorry, as a
yeah, as
partnership.
a partnership with Jackson,
Yeah,
because
well,
you have a
if-
strong hold of play guy, and then he links it up, and then you have playmakers.
Yeah,
around
but
him,
by
like
that, but
like
everything we were
Nkunku
saying about
and
Martinez, everything we were saying about Martinez, Nkunku can do that, and I get it. Nkunku's injury prone, but like we spent that money on him to be that guy, and now we're going to spend big money again for Lautaro to be the
You
guy.
can have all three.
But hold on.
why
But
can't
now we still have a problem. Say we get Lautaro, we still have a problem where we don't have a striker. We don't have a number one guy.
Yes, we do.
He is a striker.
Lautaro.
He's a goal
number
scorer.
one now.
Lautaro-
He's number one last
Okay,
season.
Lautaro is a striker.
I don't
No,
know.
we've got a B or two. We've got a number two. We don't have a
He is the main striker.
Yeah,
You
but
play
what do you
Lautaro
mean he's not-
Jackson, you tell me that wouldn't work?
Yeah.
in a front. No, in a front two.
Then Drogba and Anelka
I
are
don't-
never
it
been
might
the same.
work as a
Drogba and
lone
Anelka's
striker.
never been
Don't
the
mind.
same.
in a front two. But
He
like
still might work
you're
as a lone
under
as well.
you're under the impression that we'll get Inzaghi. If we don't get Inzaghi, do you still want Martinez?
Well, then if we get an
depending on
Almiron, then I would want
manager
Ginker. It's like you said.
Pick up
it's
Gem,
based on the
and
manager.
yes.
It's based
Yeah,
on what the manager wants.
Big up, Jen. Yeah.
Nah,
That's
we love
what I'm
Martinez.
I just
We
look at
love
Martinez. I'm like, nah.
Because I'm sorry, we can say the same for Osimhen in terms of last season.
Yeah.
He had a manager who put him in the right spots, and he was doing amazing compared to this season, where him and Kvaratskhelia haven't been doing as well. So how do I know if we have any manager that is not the manager that is the current Italian manager, his ex-manager? How do we know he's going to do well as well? That's with all
I can
three of
say
these strikers.
that's the same thing I can say about Martinez.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm putting for you too with your Osimhen thing.
Yeah, but that's why I keep saying that my opinion doesn't matter really. Let's get the right manager first, and then he can build he can fill in
But
the
I'm
rest.
saying one's doing international in Osimhen's manager. The other two are more gettable. Like Gilchrist's manager only has a 30 million release clause euros, and the other one, I think if we put the money down, we can do it because Inter are financially strapped, and if we actually give a shit about the money, because we did that with Conte. We got a guy who was winning for Juventus 3 years in a row, and then was a manager of Italy, and then we got him.
Yeah.
So we can do it again. Put the money down. Anything's possible if we put the money down, especially with Italian clubs that are not kind of more broke, quote unquote. Put the money down.
No, I listen. Inzaghi's on my short list, but like, I just don't know how. I don't know how realistic it is we'll get him. I don't know per se, and
I'll give you a 1 out of 10 chance, to be honest.
I would rather have I'd rather get I want Amber.
The thing is, though, with Inter's current financial situation and most Italian clubs' financial situation, I can't see a world where it is possible, you know, especially Lautaro leaving. I mean, if they need to rake up some money and Lautaro has been having the seasons he's been having there, they can get a decent chunk of change for Lautaro's in a very, very dry striker market.
Same with DiMarco, same with Barella, same with Bastoni.
If he's going to cook like that, though, in other leagues, that's yet to be seen. I don't know. I am willing to entertain it, and it could happen, but
haven't we been saying this for quite a few years now about Inter being in financial ruin? They need to sell players.
It's been
a while, but I think it's now officially happening as of last season.
I'm saying what? They sold Lukaku. Martinez that summer was linked to Spurs, I think, because I think that was when Jose was there, and then no one else left. Bastoni, who's been linked for moves for a while, hasn't left. Morella's still there.
Actually, someone did leave. It was Skriniar because he didn't renew his
Free.
contract.
Hakimi left as well.
He went on a free.
Hakimi left.
Onana. He went on a free.
By the way, this all speaks to test.
Wait. Hakimi left to us.
Onana left literally last season.
I don't want Onana.
Yes,
he was a big part of that team. You can't tell me he was a bad part.
The money that he forced in for the team.
I don't know. I'm just
that is all the player.
He was important for Inter, and they sold him.
Yeah. No matter what you think.
And by the way, all of this, all of this is a testament to show how good Inzaghi is. By the way, all of this.
True. Actually, that brings me to this next little point that I saw. I started this comment. A. Solomon was talking about what are we going to do? Who are we going to go for? There's no elite managers out there. I would argue you don't necessarily need an elite manager to succeed with this team. I like you could say what you want about Amrin, right? We're linked with Amrin, or you can say what you want about the Zerbi. Even I don't rate the Zerbi, but I think both of those managers can come into this team and give you something convincing, something that you can like get behind.
Yeah, like there's no fine. If we're talking about the A-tier world-class managers, there's only Pep, Ancelotti, Klopp. You can argue, say Simeone. That's 4.
Of course.
But in the tier below, in the managers who are like on their way to showing their potential, you've got Xavi Alonso, you've got Ruben Amorim. Inzaghi has been winning things consistently for quite a few years. Spalletti has been winning things. You've got that's 4 managers I've listed who they're not like hipsters, like you can say De Zerbi or Thomas Frank, who are doing well but haven't actually shown or won anything yet. These 4 managers I've mentioned have actually won things and they're consistently going on.
Building their resume.
That's why I want. That's why I've said Sarri, Amorim, Simeone, Inzaghi, Spalletti, or Simeone. Like those 6 managers are the only 6 we should be looking, unless there's some weird unnamed one like Ange was, where no one knew about him, but he's good.
You could go for Frank Heis, the Lons manager.
Or
He's
like
been
Slot,
in
right?
NSC for a long time.
And Slot is also an up and coming one.
Slot, yes, Slot.
That's the other one.
Yeah, but see, that's my thing. People saying that there's no quality managers. They are. It's just that they're not world class yet, but they're on that path to becoming it. So it's only if is it worth taking the risk. So you've got
It's all about finding the right fit. It's all about finding the right fit.
Same with a striker, because we know at Chelsea, particularly in the striker position, that we've spent money on certain strikers and they just haven't worked out, whether it's hype or price tag or they just haven't fit our system. That's why for me it's so important we get the manager right, because if we get the right manager, then you can find the striker that suits his system, and then personally I won't complain, because so long as it suits what he wants, then I won't care.
I need to address the comment I just saw. Are you serious?
Well,
Scott Page, I would take Højlund over Jackson. No, you fucking wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
You want to know why you wouldn't? You want to know why you wouldn't? Because people have such recency bias. It's so ridiculous. People want to forget that Højlund only scored his first Premier League goal last month. In December. I felt like last month. In December. You would not have waited until December. You would have wanted him out for bench all the way up to that point.
If Chelsea fans are telling me that they would have waited, 20 games or whatever it was for his
No, they wouldn't have. No Chelsea fan wants to do that. I wouldn't have.
By the way, people are saying that he scored in the Champions League. Chelsea are not in Europe, so he wouldn't have scored for us until December. Chelsea fans,
it's insane what you guys are saying in chat.
It's like, hang on, we're talking about a team. We're talking about a team that has apparently the most creative number 10 in Europe.
But they don't.
Uncomfortable conversation.
Uncomfortable conversation. That ain't no real stat, bro.
Like guys, Jackson scored a hat-trick against Spurs, but because of the context and him missing like 3 or 4 goals, people said he should have scored 5 or 6. This purple patch Højlund's been on, where he's been scoring tap-ins and deflections. If that was Jackson, people would have crucified him. Let's not be hypocritical. Jackson scored. Scored more. Højlund scored more than double what Jackson cost. Let's not compare them, please. Let's not compare them.
I find it so baffling, and it almost makes you question if you're even watching the matches. People in the chat saying that Jackson doesn't have link-up play. That is literally one of the best attributes for him. Not his only, but it's his best attribute. What are you talking about? It's so ridiculous. What is going on in chat?
I remember back in the summer, United fans like Terry and stuff were showing clips on Y-Scout and saying Højlund's link up. I remember specifically there was this clip of Højlund in the rain in Italy where a ball was hoofed up to him or something. It was a poor touch, bounced off him in the rain, and then he chased it or whatever, and he played it off. And I remember like United fans like Terry showing that clip and saying Højlund's he's a better all-round footballer than Haaland, and he'll come to the Prem and he'll show it, and it's good money for the price, it's potential, yada yada yada. It's better than signing Kane, etc., etc. How can you go from comparing your striker to Haaland to now saying that he's better than Jackson? Do you not have shame? Honestly, not have shame.
That's wild.
Yeah, and the fact you got delusional Chelsea fans as well, like in the chat, just talking nonsense. Like it just shows their level
It's crazy.
their level of IQ is in the
Crazy.
toilet.
And
the
listen,
minus.
I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Like I think they're both equally as good as each other. Especially if Højlund keeps up like this form, if he's more consistent. Like we've seen Jackson, you could say he's relatively consistent. I would say that for the most part he plays well. Maybe he doesn't score as often as he should. But
No, Jackson's better. I've seen Højlund gets bullied. Højlund consistently has been bullied by Premier League centre backs. I've not seen Jackson get bullied. I've seen Jackson go up against Van Dijk. I've not seen him get bullied consistently.
And also it depends on what kind of striker you want. I do think Jackson's got a link up.
They're different strikers for sure.
And holding things up compared to Højlund, who I do deem, in my opinion, as still a better quote unquote finisher. Like I would still take him on a one-on-one against the goalkeeper more than Jackson would. Maybe that's just the trauma I have. I'm saying one-on-one chances. I'm not saying like
you would pick Højlund one-on-one.
Also to David in the chat, I couldn't care less if Højlund is overperforming his XG. How many goals does he have, bro? Talking about overperforming his XG. Cool. XG is cool. He scored 11 goals in the Prem. That's not even 11 goals in the Prem. He scored less goals in the Prem than Jackson. I can't remember how many off the top of my head I did look earlier. That's all that matters. I don't care that he's overperforming his XG. He scored less goals.
XG is what.
And also how long does that last? Unless you're like a Salah or a Haaland who will consistently overperform.
I'm not talking about XG like that wins you games.
It will always fall to the median.
By the way, hey, if we all right, let's do something crazy. Let's do something fucking crazy because I haven't heard this debate. Garnacho Palmer.
Oh, it's Palmer. It ain't even close.
Why ain't Man United fans piping up about Garnacho over Palmer?
Is that really a thing?
Yeah,
no, wouldn't surprise me.
Because they know Garnacho is nowhere near Palmer level.
Like, here's the thing. I don't like talking about price tag. I like looking at the ability of a player and their consistency. Yeah, of course. The football world loves going on price tag. Yeah. You cost 100 mil. So hold on, Scott. You cost 100 mil, so you have to be world class every game. You cost this amount. I can't be. I swear. Hold on. By that same logic, Højlund cost, was it 72 or 75 mil? Jackson cost 30. Why are we comparing? Those two should not be compared. Compare Højlund to Nunez. They cost similar amounts. Compare Højlund to Richarlison. They cost similar amounts. Leave Jackson alone. Leave him alone.
Price. It's weird how like price matters when you're comparing Mainu versus our midfielders, but when it's Højlund versus Jackson, it don't matter. It's mad that they're like Liverpool fans. Goals matter when it's Salah versus Hazard, but it doesn't matter when it's Gerrard versus Lampard. That's kind of weird.
And also sus chat. Like he's way older than he is. He's only 1 year older than Højlund.
Yeah.
Like, he's also been playing football for less years, by the way, in terms of men's football.
So Jackson may be 1 year older, but Højlund's been playing football for like 3 years now. So that cancels each other out. And by the way, Jackson's not a striker.
Yeah, he used to play wing.
Until last season. By the way, people saying 64 million. Yes, he's 64 million, but those add-ons are guaranteed. No matter what happens, it's still going to be 72 million. So there's no point just saying 64. You're still paying 72 million.
Yeah, and if you're going 65 million, then never say 100 million for Mudryk for us. Never say
No, with Mudryk still different. We have requirements. He has to win Champions League, Premier League, and Ballon d'Or.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying if Man United fans are saying Højlund's only worth 65 million, then 66 million is only for Mudryk. Never for 100 million. That's what I'm saying.
This comment is weird.
It doesn't say what requirement is guaranteed.
Do you know what's jokes about this comment? Is this all this waffle, by the way? Here's a little bit of information because I put it in the chat earlier. Jackson in 8 games matched Højlund's entire tally in 32 games.
Exactly.
Jackson had 9 goals in 8 game purple patch in the season when the team let you score because they tried to play in La Liga. So what is the point of saying this? How many goals does he have right now?
What I would say about Højlund, having watched his
Yeah.
career for a few years now, is he is a slow starter. Same thing with Tonali. Tonali's first year at Brescia when he was 17, 18, he was honestly not that good. Second year for Brescia was so good that Milan bought him. So fucking good that Milan bought him. First year at Milan, he stunk for a lot of it. Had his wages low. Second
Also,
year,
this comment, yeah. So I
That's
guess Man City is
troll.
weak.
This
I
has
guess
to be a
Man City is
troll.
weak team. I guess Man City is weak.
You know what? He's right. Jackson is supposed to be a B-tier player. That's why he's supposed to be our backup. Why are you comparing him with Højlund?
Yeah.
If Højlund is so great, leave Jackson alone.
And I guess
Compare
it's not-
Højlund with Nunez. Compare Højlund with Haaland. Compare him with Lautaro Martinez. Compare him with Osimhen. Compare him with Gyökeres. Why are you comparing him to Jackson, who is not good?
And also to say it's against weaker teams. I guess Man City is a weaker team, right? So I can't. So next game, tomorrow's game, I want Højlund to step up against this weaker team. Right?
Curry
'Cause I
B,
want Højlund
Man City are third, no? So they are
I
weak.
guess not good. Yeah, and Aston Villa's fourth, right? So he had something there too. So I guess I need Højlund to step up against these weak teams. So tomorrow against Man City,
Spurs
I
are a
want him to
weaker
step up.
team, right? He got a hat trick.
Yeah, I want him to step up, man. He needs to step up. He needs to step up against Man City again for scoring a goal. So I need Højlund to step up tomorrow. I need him to score 2 goals and get an assist, right?
Yeah, just tell Højlund to stop being bullied by Luton
Bro,
Townsend.
you don't watch Chelsea. It's clear. Just
you
say
don't.
it. You don't watch Chelsea.
These
don't watch Chelsea.
United fans are clueless, man. Let's move on. These United
You're
fans-
not a Chelsea fan. I don't believe you if you say you're a Chelsea fan because you do not watch Chelsea with these comments. You're just
Hey,
clearly
Nunes is
trolling.
cooking this season, by the way. Nunes is cooking this season.
Nunes, yes.
He's got like 25, 26
Again.
GA. Like he's actually like doing pretty
Again,
well.
another example, like I said with Tonali and Højlund, their first
Slow
season,
burning,
they are slow starters. They don't just hit the ground
Mm.
running because I've seen them at 2 clubs, and it took a minute for them to really pop off. So
Listen,
like
I
next
like
year, I
Højlund,
think-
by the way.
I do too.
I think he is talented. I do like Jackson, or not Jackson. I'm talking about Højlund. I like Højlund, and
Yeah.
there is a talent there. But
Yeah.
why this he cost more than double what Jackson cost? That shouldn't be. That shows how good
Who cares?
Jackson's then doing. Why is that a comparison? Why is that? Because that same logic when Man United fans compare Maino to Enzo. Enzo cost 100 mil. Maino came from our academy. Shows the levels.
Mm.
Why are you leave Jackson alone? Next summer or next season, Jackson will be on our bench because we would have bought Martinez or Gyökeres or whoever, and they'll be scoring our goals. You guys will still have Højlund up top.
Yeah.
You won't get another striker to start.
Mm.
Like, there's no Chelsea fan asking to drop Jackson. Or let me say, sorry, no rational Chelsea fan is asking to drop Jackson. There are Man United fans saying Højlund should be dropped, but you can't drop him. That's why he went 20 games without a goal. You couldn't drop him because you didn't have a backup to him.
Anyway, let's
mean-
move on from Højlund. He
Yeah,
reeks
fuck
and he's
this
terrible.
debate. This is fucking retarded
Yeah.
child bullshit. we got you motherfuckers. We got you motherfuckers next week. How do y'all feel about it? That's the question.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
No,
Also,
yeah,
then we
no.
can say the same
Again,
thing about
Jeffers is
Caicedo,
right.
too.
He shouldn't be leading
And we
the
can say the
line.
same thing about Caicedo, about him
Yeah.
saying that PSG outbid us for Højlund. So Liverpool outbid us
But
for Caicedo.
moving on from this whole striker Højlund whatever debate. I mean, Steve.
My dick
Steve
is
brings
bigger
up a
than
good
yours.
point.
Hey, yo.
Wait, calm down. People are acting. Hold on. People are acting like.
No! Don't read that one. Just don't read it.
I know
in
it's
general. We're
scary
done.
playing
We're moving on.
Newcastle, but we gotta
Moving on.
talk
I was gonna say when I was talking
Yeah.
Let me help
about
him out.
Chelsea,
Prime.
What
You know
happened to
what?
Scott? Scott just died. Jesus.
Yeah, I think Scott died, man.
no, I moved. I said when I was
okay.
Chelsea fans earlier, I was talking about him. So let's
Okay.
move on.
Yeah.
But anyways, going on to the next thing though, I do want to talk about Newcastle. Is Newcastle our next game actually?
Sir.
Yeah, in about 9 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Are we
why. Steve.
playing
We got
Leicester in the
9
FA Cup?
days
Isn't that happening?
Holy,
Oh
No, it's
shit, we
next-
have 9
it's-
days off. Yeah.
how they got
Yeah,
break.
yeah.
It's not
Enzo-
9 days. It's next
Newcastle-
Monday, like a week off.
Next Monday. Yeah.
Hey,
So it's
no,
like-
there's no excuses.
I mean, today is
no,
March.
to answer your
today is
question-
March 2nd.
Yeah, 9 days.
No, actually, no,
To
it's a
answer your
week off.
question,
Because I say it's a week off.
Yeah, it's 9 days
I mean-
until we play Newcastle. Yeah, Monday.
I want to say like I feel like I have chest that we could win, but right now I just don't know what the hell Poch is doing. I genuinely don't know what Poch is doing. Like I felt like we were going in one direction up until that Liverpool game, and then after that Liverpool game, it's like we're changing the plan again. We're scrapping everything that we thought was working for something that we're experimenting all over again. Like I don't know what's happening.
Marshall, I was going to say this earlier, that the fact of the matter is the idea of what we're trying to do here doesn't... the plan of what we're trying to do here doesn't matter, whether it be we're trying to play 4-2-3-1, whether we're trying to play 3-5-2 or whatever the hell it was today. You know, the fact of the matter is, the way we go into half-time and then take 20 yards backwards at the...
That is concerning too.
At the blowing of the second half whistle, you know, just invites the pressure, and... Because other managers in this league have better in-game management than Pochettino, they notice that and they jump on it. Just like we should have jumped on Liverpool when we saw their disadvantages, but we have a reactive manager who's too cowardly to do anything. So,
I mean, to kind of put the question on you, Steve. I mean, how do you feel going into this game? Because I know there's been like a dramatic decline in Newcastle in recent months, which, I mean, I'm sure you can talk about that more than us.
I mean, look, like there are a lot of factors in why we've been inconsistent, and then sometimes just completely battered and obliterated by teams like the very, very good ones, and sometimes even just like Luton, you know, coming up to St. James Park and getting 4. But today versus Wolves, Willock back in that midfield, it looks like has fixed a lot of problems in midfield, which if you guys watch us play Arsenal, midfield non-existent.
Oh,
You guys got ripped apart by Arsenal. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we got bombed.
And immediately too,
Yeah, we had maybe 10 minutes in the second half and maybe the 5 minutes until halftime where we were like, okay. But look, today versus Wolves, albeit should add in some context. They had a few injuries. They had no Hwang. They had no Neto went off at halftime. And Jose Sa also got injured. Who was the other guy injured? They had Bellegarde play false 9.
They've got. I think Cunha's still out with a hamstring injury.
Cunha's out injured. Yes, that was another one. So it wasn't a full strength Wolves team, and they missing Gomes, the kid who scored a brace against Spurs. So if I pulled up their lineup, we faced off. We went with Dubravka, Trippier, who's injured, Cher, Botman, Byrne. Longstaff, Bruno, Willock played on the left side of midfield. I got to talk about him in a minute because, again, it looks like it solved a lot of problems. Murphy, Isak, Gordon. That was our team. Wolves went with originally Sa, Kilman, Dawson, Totti Gomes, Nelson Semedo, Lamina, Tommy Doyle, who had a pretty good game, actually. Ait Nori. Then front 3 of Neto. There's a false 9, drifted off to the right a lot. Had a good start to the game. Sarabia, who had a good game, and Bellegarde, he was all right. So it wasn't a full strength Wolves team because they are missing Cunha and Hwang. Those are their 2 injuries. So basically what I saw today with Willock was Gordon was getting the ball in much better positions because usually Longstaff would be playing there, and he's just not as good a passer of the ball. Not as active, he's not as box to box. Longstaff is nice to keep things ticking every once in a while. Willock gets very involved, and Bruno today had a fucking crazy license to get forward. He got forward a lot today because he knew he had the security blanket kind of thing with Willock because he will track back and put in defensive work. And Miley, as good and talented as he is, and he's 18, he does not have the box-to-box ability that Willock does. Or Longstaff. So, for me, our midfield is looking a lot better. Will we replicate that against you guys? That remains to be seen, obviously. But with Willock back in the team, it looks a lot better. We didn't concede a shot on goal to Wolves. It took them, I want to say, about 65 minutes. And they actually had a little bit more possession than us. They had first half was 62% possession to Wolves, only 38 for us. But we were hitting them on the counter with Gordon and even to Murphy, who was pressing like a fucking machine. It was a great game plan. It was honest to God, like you guys know that I'm a fan of Eddie Howe. I think it might be time to move on. To be fair to him today, fucking A, great game plan. We recognized that Wolves, when they're creating these big upsets away from home to Spurs, beat Chelsea, what did they do so effectively on the counter? Albeit, again, they're missing Cunha, who was a big part in the win against you guys, and Spurs, and Hwang. So they didn't have some certain personnel, but we took away that ability for them to counter. And we decided, hey, we can fucking counter attack on them. Let's do that. And we were up 2-0. So it's gonna be very interesting. We looked a lot better today, in short. And I watched your game as well, obviously. Man, the second half things, it's not just a, oh, the players are bad. Nah. What the manager's supposed to do at halftime is improve. Gary O'Neill, I'll go back to the Wolves game real quick. Wolves were not very good first half. Second half, they weren't amazing, but I saw some improvements. I saw some adjustments from them, giving some kids some of their academy, younger kids a chance. Got Tommy Doyle a bit more involved in the game. Told Bellegarde, come more to the left, and we're going to put a different focal point up top. And they improved the second half. We still scored late, and it was 3-0 win. But I saw some improvement despite them being not great in the first half. You guys got worse. And this is not the first time we've said this about Chelsea. It's not. So I feel kind of good going into the game, but we haven't won at Stamford Bridge since 2012. So I don't feel confident enough to say we'll win, but I feel good about the game at least getting a point. And especially in the second half, we'll give you a run for your money on the counter with Gordon and Isak. And then the bench is looking better as well. You know, Barnes was on the bench. Almiron was on the bench. I don't rate Almiron, but, you know, legs, speed, whatever. Tino was on the bench. Elliot Anderson is a decent young player. Miley was on the bench. Barnes. So, you know, today was a really good day. And we'll see if it really means anything. If we could beat you guys, then it might mean something for us of our season, really.
I mean, I wouldn't take it. I'd take it kind of with a pinch of salt. I don't know. I mean, it is a step up for you guys considering the form you've been in recently. But where this team is going, like, I don't know. I just want this to turn around, because if I really wanted to be toxically positive, I guess that's a phrasing. Like, we lost this fixture earlier in the season. We didn't lose it this time, and we we didn't lose.
Just smile.
Cool. Like, we didn't lose. Yay! Like that means nothing to me. That means nothing to me. Like, the football was shit. Like, I don't mind having shit football and then getting results, fine. But like, we're playing shit football and we're losing games, or, you know, and even today, like, no chances created, barely any chances created up until the very end of the game. Maybe our best players are looking so bad. It's just so many things that are I have to just question. And then going into that Newcastle fixture, I don't know what Chelsea to expect, because, again, it's like, I would have thought that after the Liverpool match, our team would have just completely just tanked. It would have been back-to-back losses up until this point, which hasn't happened. I mean, say what you want about Leeds, and I never expected to actually lose against Leeds, because they're a championship side. We're at Chelsea, where we should be beating that team. You know, we came back and ended up winning it. You know, like, it happened. We won the game. Today, against Brentford, who, in my opinion, Brentford deserved. They hit the bar twice. They deserve to win. The post. They deserve to win. But at the end of the day, they didn't. So here we are. We didn't lose against Brentford. So the results are kind of weird, but they're there. But at the same time, I just don't see the confidence on the pitch. So I don't think we're gonna.
I mean,
I
the
can see
results are there, but
Newcastle, to be honest with you.
the performance aren't. Look, the performance isn't though. Against Brentford, we should have lost, and against Leeds, you know, if they start Somerville and Noto, we lose that game too. So, you know,
Yeah,
it's not
you
like
could argue that for sure.
Poch is awful. Solomon saying talking about halftime why we get worse. It's getting to a point now where each half of football we start worse. It happened today.
Yeah.
We should have been. It's unfortunate that. Well, I say unfortunate. Brighton didn't really do anything at the start of the game, but like we were just all over the place, and then we kind of clicked into gear and we scored right before halftime, and then we started the second half the same way we started the first. Only difference is Brighton were actually on it.
Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford were actually on it, and they should have scored 2-3 goals.
Yeah,
Like we're so bad, and Chris is banned. Goodbye, and like we just can't. People can talk about these players individually and stuff, but at the end of the day, it stems from players are repetitively. I can take a player making a mistake once, twice, 3 times. That's fine. But if you're repeating the same mistakes over and over, at the end of the day, that's not a player issue. It's a manager issue because he's either not addressed it or he knows you're making a mistake and he's not doing anything to stamp it out. And he has to do that now. We're too far in. And Poch, it's a good thing he's not going to be here next season because he could be stunting the growth of some of these players.
Yeah, I mean that is a concern actually because we're actually starting to see players also decline, which is concerning me a lot. You know, Enzo and Caicedo are prime examples of that, and I mean to a certain extent, even Palmer. Like today's game, I think either today or Brentford or not Brentford. I'm sorry. The Middlesbrough game. Between these two games, like it's probably one of his worst performances, and he didn't look that great against Leeds either.
Are you talking about Middlesbrough first leg?
Yeah.
I thought he was fine against Middlesbrough, aside from like the open goal, the chances he missed. But the thing is,
hat trick of chances.
First leg,
But I mean his all-round play. The thing is, though, right? Yeah. I agree with you, Marshall. I don't care how good Palmer's supposed to be or how good he is now. We should not be reliant on him, particularly in his first season.
That too.
We shouldn't have to rely on him.
A good manager, you bring him into this team, and he gets these players playing better. That's what's supposed to happen. And well, not all the time, but at least there's a handful of players that you see playing better. Even Conor Gallagher. Say what you want about Conor Gallagher. Today, he was absent. Absolutely absent. Like that was not a Conor Gallagher performance that like I couldn't even, he was so uninvolved that I couldn't even get frustrated at him. And I'm very 50-50 on Conor Gallagher. I'll praise him when he plays a good game, and then I'll, I'll point it out when he plays like crap. But even like that's a player that everyone said, oh, he's improved so much under Poch. Like, has he though? When you think about it, how up and down he is, has he? No. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like improving a player.
GNA, man. GNA. That's what people. If you want to argue that's their only argument.
Yeah. To me, like when you say improve a player, to me when I consider improving a player, to me that's like, okay, I see him consistently putting on good performances now. And with Connor, we've had like some patches. Even Malo Gusto, like now that I'm thinking about it and I'm deep in it, even Malo Gusto, who started off so strong this season. And mind you, he was
good. Gusto.
Yeah. And mind you, his first half today, he was good. Second half, he's struggling. And even earlier games too, like we're seeing less and less quality from Gusto, which
like when I'm talking about a manager improving a player, like Poch hasn't done that. It's about taking a player from one level and bringing them up 1, 2, 3, 4 levels. Poch hasn't done that to to any player. Gallagher, he's just playing a lot more games, but he doesn't look better. He only looks better because Enzo and Caicedo, funny enough, they apparently look worse. And the only reason why why people think those two look worse is because they both cost 100 mil. If Gallagher also cost 100 mil, people would be criticizing Gallagher. But because he didn't, and he's from the academy, no one's gonna say anything.
Listen,
I look at Palmer. Palmer, for me, he's just playing off of individual brilliance. And we see it in certain games, like today. I don't even think he had a bad game today. I just think the fact of he kept trying too much because he knows we are reliant on him to get a win or to get any sort of result.
Here's the thing. This comment below, like, I'm all for criticizing the directors. Like, we've done it here. If you've been in the channel before, you've seen us criticize the owners, you've seen us criticize the directors. You guys know we keep it completely transparent and honest here, or at least I try to. Your directors are allowing your players to regress. Our directors aren't the ones out there setting up the training regimen. The directors aren't the ones out there setting up the tactics. I mean, you can make this argument in a weird sense if you're saying they're allowing it because they're keeping Poch in a job. Sure. But they're not the ones that are making what's happening on the pitch happen. They don't call those shots. So unless you mean
but the thing is, Marshall, this has been going on for too long now. Where
I agree.
Well, we can't blame Poch anymore. It has to go to the level above.
But yeah, I think
yeah.
What I'd say is because he mentioned something earlier about shouldn't they be sacked? Yes,
they should. 100%.
Should as well. I think that's been made clear. Like, they should all go, Poch and the two directors.
Because the thing is, right, I've seen people try and make the argument on Twitter and wherever. People are trying to say do we know actually how much influence these directors have over this decision? Well, yes, we do, because Win Stanley was the final nail in the coffin of Graham Potter. So there is evidence that at least at one time that he did have some influence. Now, obviously, there might be new information since then that hasn't been released, but we can only go off what we have. There is evidence that they can have an impact.
Or two questions, I guess. Win Stanley and Paul Stewart, what is their job role? What do they actually do?
Sporting directors.
Co-sporting directors, yeah.
They're both sporting. So we don't have a director of football. We have two sporting directors.
And you know what? Actually,
there seems to be some strange delegation between two people.
I don't know if you know this, Prime. Just to let you. Yeah. So we you're familiar with Michael Edwards, obviously. We could have had Michael Edwards be the CEO of their position, because that's kind of what he wanted to do. He doesn't want to be a sporting director anymore. He wants to be like a CEO of sporting recruitment or something like that. We could have gotten him at Chelsea if everything played out, obviously, in that role to kind of guide and lead Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart through their decisions, which I would have been 100% for, because we've seen the caliber of recruitment that Edwards has done and how he's built teams.
Is there a difference between a sporting director and a director of football?
No, it's just interchangeable.
Okay, cool. And who was in charge of the managers we have hired, and who was in charge of bringing in Potter and firing him?
Bowley and Eggball.
That would have been Bowley, because the directors weren't hired.
They were in charge of hiring him. In terms of firing him, I think it's the same as it is now. And this is the problem with the consortium. It's a group decision, and I think as Oliver mentioned, the nail in the coffin for Potter was that both the sporting directors pushed for him to be sacked.
Okay, so ultimately, even though it's a group decision, ultimately it lies with the two sporting directors.
I think it's all of them, because I think, based on what we heard, and don't know if this is true or not, from a report about a month ago, is everyone apart from Bowley wanted him gone in terms of Poch, but because not everyone was on the same page, they didn't act.
Yeah,
so I feel like it's a case of everyone has to be on the same page, and this is the problem you get with a consortium. Everyone has to be on the same page before they.
That's weird, because I read before that, 2 weeks or a month before that Bowley wanted him. That Bowley wanted to keep him, and Bowley wanted him gone.
Yeah, no. So that's what I meant. Is That's what I meant. I might have worded it wrong, but yeah. So basically, everyone wanted him gone apart from Bowley. So the sporting director, Nate Barley, wanted him gone, but Bowley wanted him to stay, and because of that, he didn't go. But now we're hearing apparently it's Barley wants to keep him. We don't know. All I will say is I think it's a case of one person can't make the decision. It's not an Bowley thing singular. It's like they have to come to a decision together.
And that's the thing about having like a consortium or a group think, where you have to agree together. It can't just be majority rules. But,
Yeah, I mean, but bringing it back to the upcoming game, I'm curious as to see. I mean, Scott, how do you feel going into that game?
I think we lose. I genuinely don't feel confident any game we go into apart from Sheffield United and Luton and Burnley if we still play them as well. Like apart from the teams in the relegation zone of those we have left to play, I don't feel confident playing against anyone else. Like the way we play is terrible. I don't know what this manager is going to do. I would half expect us next game to come out in a 6-1-3. You know, with like no striker and a 3-10s, or like 3 wingers on the pitch and no. I don't know. Like I don't know what to expect. I don't know who's going to play. Silva could come back into the team for all we know. Like he could drop Jackson out of nowhere. None of us know with this manager. Like.
You're right, man. There's a lot of uncertainty.
You know who won't drop? Gallagher. You ain't dropping Gallagher. You ain't dropping that man. It's the last thing he does.
Unfortunately.
I mean,
speaking of dropping, can we talk about Mudryk?
Sure, because I was going to bring up Chalobah as well, but go ahead, bring up Mudryk.
Yeah, like the man management is just shocking. Like it doesn't even take a person who knows football well to see that a guy that keeps, I'm not going to say keeps scoring because he's been inconsistent, right? But every single time he does score, and you figure, okay, you've got a young guy here who's getting targeted, and rightly so, being targeted for being inconsistent, but he gets a goal. Surely build on his confidence, but no, we're going to just bench him. It's every single game he scores. If you notice, it's just it's beyond belief, really. And yet I got to hear reports that apparently this guy is Pochettino's pet project. Are you kidding me? This is not how you treat a pet project. Like, give me a break. I don't know.
I was gonna say, like for today, I was gonna say with Mudryk, like if he's gonna play this back three and what we did, obviously, why not play? This is what I'm saying. He's never dropped Gallagher. He never dropped Gallagher, but like he should have dropped Gallagher for not use Gallagher anyway and play Mudryk on that left instead. Like it doesn't make any sense why you didn't have a more attacking player and Mudryk who would actually offer more attack. Like Gallagher offered literally nothing in that attack today. Like he was literally a ghost. Actually, surprisingly, like he wasn't even involved in the press that well.
Chris, I think the problem with today is, like, with the system that we use, this 3-5-2 or whatever you want to call it, the problem is, I think Mudryk suffers. I think Mudryk suffers in this particular system. But then that's where you got to criticise the manager for going with that system in the first place.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 3-4-3 kind of.
Or what? No, it wasn't a 3-4-3. No. We didn't play with wingers.
I can actually. It wasn't even a 3. I can tell you exactly what it was. A
3-1-5-1, whatever it was.
Oh yeah. I heard that the first stuff.
We didn't play with wingers though. It was supposed to be the wing backs solely providing the width, and Palmer would occasionally drift.
Well, it wasn't even like. It was quite weird because at times it was a back 3, at times it was a back 4 with Colwell playing left back. All I knew is that Chilwell rarely tracked back, particularly in that second half. Like, I don't know. Like, manager has to go, man. And the thing is, even though we'll keep losing games, the results won't get bad. On paper, it won't be like a 3-4 or 5-0. It'll be narrow losses that this guy can spin and say it's part of a project. Just got to a cup final. Chelsea fans, relax. We're in a quarter-final because we'll beat Leicester more than likely.
Probably.
I hope. Well, do I even hope? I don't even know.
And sorry to add on to the.
You would think.
We ain't beating Leicester.
I was saying to add on to the Mudryk thing is like we also saw quotes after this game saying that the midfielders are tired. So why not rest one of them? Play the guy at 10. Play Modric at 10. You know, the position that he scored and kind of had an influence at last game compared to on the wing. And then maybe play Gallagher with a Caicedo or Gallagher with an Enzo, so you get more rest. And then you could sub on Cassidy once we've secured something at least decent. Like maybe do that, especially if you're playing a freaking 5 at the back. You should be secured defensively, so you can risk playing a Gallagher with Caicedo or a Gallagher with Enzo, and then have Modric attack more and create. You know, the guy who scored something last game. Once again, just like the Newcastle game where he saved us during the FA Cup to equalize. What do? We drop in the next game. What's the point?
I was actually going to ask you guys, what are your thoughts, you know, moving away from Mudryk, which I agree with you guys, by the way. If the guy is making an impact in the team and we're seeing something from him, I don't understand why not playing him the next game. Why that's something that we're not doing. And even when Curry Pirates said midfield looks tired, you had options. You had Cassidy in that mid. You literally brought Cassidy for that purpose because Ugochukwu and Romeo Lavia are injured, yet you're not using him. So what are we doing? It's all like you really can't take anything he says with any seriousness. But coming back to Chalobah now there's this weird obsession with playing Chalobah. Every single game where he's been available, he's played. And I'm not gonna say that Chalobah is not good enough to be at the club. I do like Chalobah. I just don't understand. Like today, it felt like we had to accommodate a lineup just to fit Chalobah into the team, who's not been a part of this project since the summer series, the preseason. Why? I don't understand the purpose of this.
I don't think it was trying to shoehorn him in. I just think Potts wanted to go with a back 5 because he was terrified of Brentford. What?
Okay, continue.
No. What's your question?
No. I was just saying, like, you don't think putting him in the middle of a back 3 is just trying to accommodate for him?
No, because Silva would have played there if he was fit, and he's just come back. He was on the bench today, but you can't risk him too soon. The problem I have with Chalobah today is, like, I think Scott mentioned it earlier, and even on Lewis's stream. Why do we play him in the middle? Like, he has played there before, and he is capable of doing it. But you've got a guy like Disasi, who is, you know, he is not favourable in defending wide areas. At least Chalobah has a bit more pace to him. You know, he's played at right back before, so he understands it a bit better. So, what was that about? That kind of, why did he line up like that?
Because he has no fucking clue what he's doing. Your manager, you got no fucking 100%. Idea. I don't know. Am I echoing?
Go ahead. You're good now.
I was just gonna say, you know what, bro? We could talk about like every one of your players and be like, why is these performances? To be honest, like, is it because your manager has no idea what he's doing at all? Absolutely no idea. Mudryk not playing him after he played well. I don't know why. What was the reason? It's not like the fucking, what's it called, on the left. You guys have been amazing this season.
No.
It's not like Cole Palmer. I mean, he looks tired also to me, kind of. He looks a bit tired, or he looks like he's like he needs to buck up his ideas a little bit. Coaching, for example. Not getting that. So it's like with all this stuff, like, why is Chalobah back in the team? I guess the Silva one, that's a decent explanation, but Silva's not a factor in your team. He's not a consistent performer anymore. He's just not. Like, if you guys, ironically, when you guys played us at St. James's Park, Silva was, responsible for at least, I think, 2 goals.
Definitely one.
Him and Badishila, they were both clowns.
Yeah. So for me, like, that's something that I'm looking at where it's like he might just do something weird, like play Silva next game, because I don't know what I'm getting out of you guys, and you don't either. That was wild. Like, I don't know why Chalobah's back in the team. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Silva comes back in, because people have this misconception that ever since the Bell Silva thing, that Silva's been like permanently, or at least for the foreseeable future, he's been dropped. That's not true. granted, he got dropped for the Aston Villa game, but was straight after that his wife tweeting that. But then he came straight back in against Palace, so it wasn't what you'd call a dropping, in my personal opinion. And he got injured in that Palace game, so that's why he hasn't played since. I wouldn't call it a dropping. I don't know about anyone else, but that's my feeling on it.
Yeah, it's just considering that players like Disasi and Disasi mostly has been playing every single match out and out. To change your formation and not just keep the same one and just replace Chalobah, who has played at the right of center back pairing, and just give Disasi a break. Because you could also make the argument that Disasi probably looked leggy today too.
Yes.
Because he's been playing so many games. Well, I shouldn't even say it. I say that almost hesitantly because it's like we're not in Europe. We have less games than the other teams around us. So I don't like this excuse that, oh, we look leggy. Like, we shouldn't be looking leggy. We should be looking more refreshed than the other teams. But again, I digress. Going back, like, why not give Disasi a chance to take a break in the same formation and just put Chalobah in that position?
Yeah, I think for now, I actually do kind of hear the whole leggy thing because, like, think about it. We've had 300 minutes of football in a week. So we had 120 minutes in the cup.
Carabao Cup final.
Cup final. We had 90 minutes against Leeds, so that's 210, and then another 90 today. That's 300 minutes, and I'm just not surprised, and especially when for all those games you're on the back foot. Yeah, I'm not surprised the defenders are getting leggy.
And also, the training sessions with Poch, we all know about those. How like brutal they apparently are, and how like most of your injuries.
Boy.
Wait, how many? Hold on a sec. I just deeped this. How many fucking injuries do you guys get from training?
It's
Almost
most
all of them have been from training.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the rival fans like to say, like, how can you blame Poch for all the injuries? I'm like, gee, I don't know. Have you seen the injuries happen in the game?
Like,
it's your medical staff. Maybe.
Yo, 9 days. That's at least 3 Poch MMA training sessions in there. You're not gonna have
MMA sessions.
9 days, bro. It's gonna be some
MMA. Who's scrapping? Let's think about this.
I guarantee it. One of the players that played today will be injured for the Newcastle game, even though they didn't come off injured. I guarantee it.
It's likely to happen. Hey, listen.
I don't want it to, by the way. I don't wish injury about nobody, you know, but like I'm sorry. That seems more likely than unlikely.
Listen, I'm gonna be shameless right now. With Poch as our manager, there's a reason why he's not back. He's not back because Wesley Fofana is being stinted in his rehabilitation because of this manager, man. I'm kidding, obviously, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are more players that do fall off that shouldn't. And
when's our next?
Like again, next Monday.
9 days.
Next Monday. Okay, cool. Reece James will get injured before we play Newcastle.
He will be set back in his rehabilitation, and that's another thing too.
That's not even a joke.
What
I called it Nkunku getting another knock.
Yeah, Nkunku.
The Nkunku one is so fucking mind-boggling to me too, because now it's a hamstring again, another hamstring injury. Like, what is going on? But the other thing that just boggles me too is I thought Carney just rolled his ankle. Why is he still not available?
He died.
You know, he's back in training.
But he's not on the bench. He's not fit.
He died. He died.
He twisted. They said he twisted his ankle in training.
No. That's a cover up for. Yeah, you know, he's not with us. He's not with us anymore. He's not with us anymore.
We're gathered here today to pay holy matrimony to the life of Edison, Carney, Chukwemeka, Jackson.
Holy matrimony. Holy matrimony.
I don't know.
Lavia? He's fake.
Lavia
he doesn't exist.
He don't exist.
Yeah, I don't know, man. At this point, it's like if you don't laugh, you cry with this. And I'm not trying to say that the injuries is the reason we're having such a shit season. By no means. It's 100% Poch, but Poch doesn't help himself with the injuries either.
Oh, because no one else has injuries, right? No.
Exactly. But going back to your point, though, Oliver, like I get the leggy argument, but most of the teams that we played are also leggy.
I mean, I wouldn't say that about Brentford. I'd say that about Liverpool and City. Yes. And that's where I've criticised Poch in his post-match press conference, saying that, you know, we're tired. No, we shouldn't be tired then. But like I said, when you've got some players like Disasi and Caicedo, and even like, to an extent, Petrovic, like I know he's a goalkeeper and he's not running about, but 300 minutes of having to be switched on, you know, it can't be the most comfortable thing in the world. And you're playing 300 minutes in a week, and one of those 90s is against Brentford, who have had basically the whole week to prepare. You know, I think there's a difference in this game. But for the bigger teams, I don't hear it because they've played in Europe and stuff.
I will say, like, I do feel absolutely terrible for Enzo and Caicedo. They must be so knackered. And considering that Caicedo especially, like, I am so shocked Caicedo's not injured yet. Like, the durability on this guy is amazing because he's putting in these, like, N'Golo Kante style tackles where he's, like, putting his body on the line constantly getting beat by the opposition and trying to get into these very, very physical tackles.
Yeah.
And then he's expected to play a full 90 every game for the, like you said, Oliver, like the amount of games recently has been a lot. I genuinely do feel bad for this guy. It's insane. And we're not giving him any rest or
He has to pick up a lot of bookings as well because he's 4v1. He has to tackle, he has to foul people.
Oh yeah, how far does anyone know how far away Caicedo is from like getting suspended?
I don't, but I know he gets booked a fair bit, and like it's not his fault. I don't blame him for it at all. And at the end of the day, it's actually probably a testament the fact that he can pick up these bookings and continue for a lot of games where you kind of feel like, okay, maybe he can actually do this and keep his discipline. Not get a red card.
He watched himself after that yellow.
Yeah,
he's more calm.
He doesn't lose his head like some players do.
And if they get past, they get past. Like he can't do much unless you want to get him sent off. But
they die.
You even look at the goal. You even look at the goal today, or the first goal. He almost he was in the box and he had to try and tackle the guy, but then Disasi fell asleep because he thought the ball was going to roll to Petrovic, and then they just have a clear shot on goal. It's like Caicedo did all he can there.
I've came up with my decision.
You're playing
Chelsea.
What, you filing for a divorce?
You're leaving Chelsea, Chris? Yeah, he's going to Ala Madrid, right?
Listen, once Real Madrid gives the contract that Gusto and I agree on, we're gone. But aside from that, I'm poaching until the end of the season. I've thought about it. I've just thought about it now.
What the
about 10 minutes.
That's your big decision.
Let me land. I want the sport for some reason can't do more than one thing at a time. I want them to focus all their energy on finding the right manager for next season. I don't want them to have to sack Poch and to think about the right moment to sack Poch, and then think about what interim we should bring in, and they end up bringing in Frank again or whatever, and things getting much worse. Nah, as much as I want to push Poch off a cliff, maybe the least worst.
Pass
I don't even know how to word this. Maybe the least hell would be to keep him until the end of the season, provided that we actually get a quality manager for next season. Maybe. Yeah.
You are prime. The copium pack is astonishing.
Again, I'm not. You're saying copium. How is it copium though?
You're trying to make up a nonsense reason why to keep a failing manager. That's why.
No, I'm not.
Gotta
No,
line
I'm
up
not
the
making
job
up a
for-
nonsense. I'm not making up a nonsense reason. These
Hey.
like the board has shown that they can't really get things right. I would rather the one thing they get right is the new manager. Focus all of your energy on the new manager, because the season.
Okay.
What's gonna listen? You're saying failing, Steve. We should have sacked him 5 months ago. Like from now until the end of the season, how much worse are we gonna get? Who cares? Like I don't care if we finish 11th. I don't care if we finish 15th. It's not gonna make a difference to me. So like,
Oh, so you
focus
don't
all your
see
energy-
any way? You don't see any way at all you can get 8th or 7th or something.
not with Poch, no.
Let me look at the rest of our fixtures. Actually, now you
And I
brought
don't
that up,
trust.
Steve.
I don't trust them to get the interim right either.
Yeah.
So I would rather focus your energy on getting the new manager right. That's why I said, if Poch stay, if I have to make a sacrifice in order to get the right manager, to get Amorim, for example, then I'm willing to do that. So it's not copying. It's me using some sort of. Listen, if someone disagrees with me, that's fine. I'm using some sort of logic here. I'm trying.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just looking at the rest of our fixtures, and I don't want to have chess here ignorantly, but like, if Poch actually stops doing these stupid decisions on the pitch and change information constantly, and actually plays players in a position and so on and so forth, all the outliers that we keep mentioning, because again, I believe that I want to believe that there was something going into that Liverpool game. Like, I want to believe that Poch was finally onto something, and now he's throwing it all away, even though, like, I much rather him persist with what he was trying to do, because I feel like we were heading in the right direction. Like, we saw Enzo Caicedo was trying to play really good football, and then with Thiago Silva being dropped, we saw ourselves actually start to get some clean sheets, which never happens at Chelsea anymore. So, yes, we have Arsenal. Yes, Newcastle may or may not be a tough match. United, it's a beatable team, but again, it depends on what Chelsea shows up. We've shown that we can beat Aston Villa. Tottenham is going to be a challenge, but outside of that, like, there are winnable games. Everton should be a winnable game. Brighton should be a winnable game. West Ham should be a winnable game. Bournemouth should be a winnable game. Nottingham Forest should be a winnable game. Sheffield United. So, looking at the standings, we could find ourselves in 8th, 6th, maybe, if we actually go into that idea that Poch had, lean into it, and hopefully it plays out well. I don't think Poch is going to set us up like brilliantly tactically, but if you at least do what you were doing going into that Liverpool game, that if you set your team up like that, maybe you can get something out of it. But go ahead, Steve.
The problem is, you're right. He did good game against City. Liverpool, you tried your best and then pussied out. You pussied out today against Brentford.
Yeah, and that's a big issue too. Is that
pussied out against Brentford? Not an informed Brentford, because I think Brentford are a decent team. I think their injuries are really bad. And they don't have quite the squad. They haven't won in like 13 games.
That's
what I mean, though, Steve.
Like,
you pussied out. Poch mirrored a Brentford team who are 12 winless or some bullshit, and he pussied out on the way that was working against City and Liverpool.
It's so baffling to me because
he's going to do it again. So let's say the Newcastle game. Let's say the Newcastle. I'm interrupting you.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Let's say for the Newcastle game, y'all have a good performance, setup, formation, and like it's a draw or maybe a narrow win, whatever. The next game, maybe you draw, and then the next game is gonna pussy out and do something completely different. That's what I expect to see out of you guys, because that's what we've seen the whole season. He's pussied out of so many things, bro.
It's
so many things.
And that's the thing too. Like this, for example, this game, we're talking about the Brentford game, right? He had, whether he won or lost, he must know by now that his job is already done. Like, unless he manages to win the FA Cup, which, sure, he could have the ignorance and the ignorantly, he can be ignorantly blissful into thinking himself that he may have a chance to win it and get into Europe. But surely, like, you're in a really tough position now where you're likely to get sacked at the end of the season. So even though you know this, why are you still playing it safe? You're up against a Brentford side that, yes, I understand earlier in the season, they ripped you apart. Sure. But you're up against a Brentford side that has been gotten at by so many teams up until this point. They have injuries to key players as well. You could literally just rip the Band-Aid off and go at them and get a result. Yet you choose to be more defensively minded. That's the part that baffles me. It's like, bro, just take the risk. You're gonna get sacked regardless of if you win or lose, likely at the end of the season.
It's not in his nature to take risks.
And it's like,
Beta.
Like, bro, step the fuck up. Get some fucking balls and start taking these chances.
But problem is, Marshall, you're
teams.
asking someone with the vagina to grow a set of nuts.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, sure.
I've got a mirror example actually. Like
but the Liverpool example is actually, that's another one too, where it's like.
I've got an example. I'll do you one better. I've got an example from his Spurs days, right? So we're talking about today how we matched Brentford with 3-5-2. Remember when he matched Conte with a 3-4-3 and played Son at wing back in a cup semi-final? That's what I mean. Like, he doesn't stick to his own principles when it comes to crunch time.
Brentford away, Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff is nowhere near crunch time.
Exactly. So we can't even say that. Oh, he just bottles it in the big moments because if he can't break down a low block. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and I know people like EPL Turf here and all that are saying what they're saying about my takes, right, about these games being winnable. But I think for me, it's just like, as much as I dislike Poch, never rated the guy, as much as I hate how our season's turning, as much as I hate what our directors are doing in terms of like this manager still being in a job, and as much as I hate how the owners have not pulled the trigger on Poch, it's still Chelsea. I still want Chelsea to win so badly. And I know the quality of team that, like, say what you want about these players. Talk as much smack as you want about these players and their price tags. At the end of the day, I'm not hearing this banter from rivals or even my own fan base that Enzo is shit, Caicedo is shit, that Petrovic is shit, Disasi shit, so on and so forth. All you list of players. No, we have good players. These are potentially world-class players if trained properly. Like, we have good players. There's no reason why with these players we shouldn't be able to get results against these lesser side. Like, no disrespect to Brentford and no disrespect to Sheffield and so on and so forth, Luton. There's no reason why with these players we shouldn't be getting the results we're supposed to.
Like, people can't say all of our players are shit. You want to know who else is shit? Longstaff. Want to know who else is shit? McGinn and Douglas Luiz.
Again,
and,
is not shit. Luiz is not shit. No.
Steve, Steve, no. Hold on. They were shit 2 years ago because I remember Arsenal fans and top 6 fans saying that.
I mean, they definitely weren't rated for sure until Unai Emery came in.
Why is it
not by everyone?
But you guys are over. You're not listening to what I'm saying. The point is,
I get you.
Proper coach comes in, and all of a sudden people rate these players. So clearly that makes a difference, right?
Yes.
You bring a proper coach.
Yeah.
So that's my point. My point isn't the players are bad. Yeah. My point is the coach makes the difference.
But again, like it's Newcastle's a perfect example. There's so many players in that team that we're just like, this team isn't good. And then you have oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. The Brazilian guy in your midfield.
Bruno.
Not Bruno.
Joelinton.
For the longest time, people said Joelinton was useless. This guy is such a bad player in Newcastle. And now look at what Eddie Howe is doing with him. Obviously, when he has a fully fit squad, but now look at the levels that Joelinton has stepped up to ever since Eddie Howe's come into the team.
He miss him in midfield still.
That's crazy because he was just a bench warmer 2 seasons ago.
That's my point.
And you know what? It took an actual manager to come in, not Steve fucking Bruce. Bruce played him as a striker when he played in midfield, left midfield, really, for Hoffenheim.
Like I get Tuchel is finished now, but Tuchel won a Champions League with a front three of Havertz, Mount, and Werner.
Right.
I don't care what people say, but a proper coach can do something with our set of players. I'm not saying we'll win a Champions League or we'll win the title next season.
You'll do better.
We'll do a lot better.
Yes.
Oh, look at what Gary O'Neill was doing at Wolves. Came in a day before the season.
Thank you. Look at what
even
Santos is doing.
Yeah, and you could even look at Wolves. You could even look at Wolves right now and be like, "Damn, Hwang Hee-chan is cooking." Like people are looking at Hwang Hee-chan differently now. Even though last season he wasn't really doing much of anything. Cunha,
Neto, you could say is taking a step up this year.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely elevated.
Because people were talking about him last year and in previous seasons. They're talking about Neto, but now,
I'm not talking about
Neto is like.
I'm talking about that's why I mentioned John McGinn and Douglas Luiz and Ollie Watkins. Those three are examples of players that people didn't want. I remember top 6 club fans saying didn't want them, and all of a sudden now they're apparently some of the best players in the league.
Yeah, I think about it.
Exactly. So Prime, what I'll say is Watkins. I was like,
I gotta bring this up.
Sure. I'm not so. Andy Bell actually, funnily enough, was like, "Nah, Watkins is good. Watkins is good." And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He does some stuff all right, but now under Unai Emery, he's popping. In my opinion, changing on the player.
Proper manager.
My opinion has changed on that player. I've always rated McGinn. I have always really liked McGinn. Again, that was.
No, but Steve, my point isn't whether you rate him or not. My point is the consensus for people is these players aren't good enough. A coach comes in, all of a sudden these players are amazing. So which is it? Is it the players are amazing, or the players are bad, or is it the coach helping to make the difference? Which is it?
Yeah. By the way, I think Villa will get top 4 comfortably. They're 3 points behind Arsenal still.
Chris is saying offer 50
stats.
And that's stinky. Like a 29-year-old or a young Caicedo who's actually
Listen,
done well.
clearly he's waffling. That's why I don't give him the time of day. When I see comments that are waffling, I don't.
Wait, hold on, Chrissy. Wait a sec. Hold on. Before you time him out or whatever, let's break this down one by one. Oh, Chris C, this entire chat is saying Enzo is shit, Caicedo is shit. Why would those top clubs, if he is shit, why would those top clubs want Enzo plus 50 million?
Not even.
It's funny too because all these rivals talk so much shit about these players, but they would love to have those players in their team.
Enzo hasn't done. De Jong has not done anything in football since 2018, 2019, when Ajax had that run. And Kimmich, for all due respect to him and what he's done in the past, he seems finished right now. So I don't want either of those.
No, that's true. Prime. Tuchel is a fucking awful coach.
People can say about Tuchel and stuff, then that's fine.
Hey,
Kimmich himself. Kimmich is not looking
respect Tuchel.
I will never. No, that guy Boko Haram.
Yeah, Marshall, do you know who you're talking to here?
That motherfucker.
We love Super Thomas Tuchel.
I follow Bayern fans online. I listen to what they're saying.
Timo in attack.
I listen to Bayern fans online.
Stop with the Timo.
I follow Bayern fans online. I listen to what they say about Kimmich. As good as he's been in terms of his legacy, he just hasn't looked up to par.
He's been poor this season, 50-50 split for me.
And it's not just this season. People are saying he's finished in midfield. He should go back to playing right back.
Yes.
So if that's the case, I don't want him in my midfield if he's not good enough to be in midfield.
The problem is they play Goretzka next to him, so it's not comfortable.
Goretzka's not good either.
Imagine Gallagher drunk. That's Goretzka.
Oliver, there's a reason why Bayern fans call them Kimetzka.
They want them both gone.
Coming back to this Ollie Watkins conversation though, and big up Will, welcome to the stream. This season, like again, I actually always kind of rated Ollie Watkins. I feel like there was always potential in him, and I could see a good striker in him. This season, he's bagged. Let's see, quick math: 21 in all competitions and 12. So 21 goals, 12 assists in all competitions.
How old is he?
25.
He's 28 now.
Oh shit, yeah.
I don't
He's
want
up
Marshall.
there.
Time flies.
Marshall,
Hey,
what
he's
you're
experienced, though. He's experienced.
No, he's not. Marshall, if what you're saying is what I think you're saying,
He is.
No, I don't want him at
Yes, he's
Chelsea.
experienced.
Do you know what's
Don't want
crazy?
him
Me
at
and Steve, what you were saying about Watkins, me and Marshall had that exact convo earlier. We literally were saying about how average he was under Dean Smith, and then like Emery comes in.
No, Gerrard as well. Gerrard
yeah,
made him
yeah,
look
and
like
Gerrard,
Gerrard,
I
yeah.
fucking forgot about
No.
Gerrard. I forgot. About Gerrard.
No, but I don't. People, he's 28 and like.
No, I don't
him
want
at
him. I'm
Chelsea.
saying it's more important what Emery's done.
Oh yeah, no, it's great what Emery's done, but people saying he's experienced, like, fine.
Yes, he is
but,
experienced, Prime. He's
not
not
in
a
ter-
rookie.
no,
He's
no,
not a
not
young
in-
It depends what you consider as
Steve,
experience. Like
Steve, let me actually speak. You can say he's not a young player. In terms of coming to Chelsea, he's not played at the highest level, so he's not worth buying. If that's what Marshall was trying to get at.
Wait, I'm not.
No. No, he's not better. Is he better than Jackson?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
he is
Yeah, I
better
would
than
say
Jackson.
yes.
Yes.
He is better
Arguable.
than Jackson.
I've watched him for years. He's better than Jackson.
Arguable.
He's better
I mean,
than
it's
Jackson.
arguable. The guy's 28. How much would he cost?
Oh,
I
you'll
would
get
say
it.
We're buying him though, is it? Yeah, that's not the. I don't think that's what Marshall was trying to say in the first place. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marshall.
Oh, okay. I assumed you were getting at that.
No.
My bad. Sorry, continue, Marshall.
No. I mean, I would take him at Chelsea. If there was an option to have him at Chelsea, I would take Ollie Watkins at Chelsea. Obviously, it depends on the manager, because if it's still Poch, then we're seeing Ollie Watkins from 2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago.
I mean,
we're not
I
seeing
like
this
Ollie
Ollie
Watkins. I do like Ollie Watkins, but no, not at Chelsea.
No. To be fair, Villa are going to be in the Champions League, so it's like I don't think he's moving. Regardless, even if unless someone offers like 100 mil.
Yeah, they
Unless
got a
someone
good
offers 100 mil, and that's the thing about Villa. Nowadays, Villa, they are not going to be signing their key players unless that player wants to leave.
Thank you. And let's say he costs not even 100 mil. Let's say he even costs like, say, 75 or 80. He's not worth that either.
I'd pay 60.
Question for you, Prime.
not
Prime, would
worth
you
60.
take? Would you take Ivan Toney to Chelsea?
No, he wouldn't.
Not as my first choice, no.
But you would take him.
Listen, I've got a lot of question marks on Ivan Toney. I've got so much question marks on Ivan Toney.
Gambling aside, just looking at the player and the performances he's.
No,
had,
I'm not talking
you
about the
would-
gambling. I'm not talking about the gambling.
Okay.
How do y'all think he played today, by the way? Once Prime's done answering, obviously.
I just
Whistle was better.
Anyways, yeah. I think we did well
Whistle
handling.
was better.
What's up?
Wait, you
That's
really
the truth.
want Poch out? He just Ivan Toney hat trick gets Poch sacked.
No.
I was praying for. No,
Chelsea did well pocketing Tony, or that left space for Wissa. But Mark, what is the point you're trying to get at about Tony? Sorry.
Because if you're on the fence about Ivan Toney, you said you would take him, just not your first choice. In terms of experience, there's not really much of a difference between Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins,
You
I would
know
argue,
the
has
third
more
name.
experience.
You know the real quick, Prime. Sorry, you know the third player that is around this kind of age range and that is quote unquote unexperienced. Dominic Solanke.
Marshall. Marshall. Everything I've just said about Watkins also applies to Tony. Last season was the first season he hit was it 20 goals or whatever?
No, he didn't hit 20 goals, but he was always up there. He was hitting double digits. Wait, did he
hit 20 goals in the league last year?
Yeah, that's his
no.
first
I'm
season.
seeing right now. Last season he only got 15 goals in the league.
Because he only got last year he got 20 goals.
Even in all comps, I'm looking at it right now. Even in all comps, he got 16.
I looked at the transfer market stats yesterday.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Wait, no. Either last
20
season or the season beforehand. So last season or season beforehand?
No, he got 20 last
The season before
21, 22, he had 12 and 5 assists.
Yeah, but anyway, regardless, Marshall. Like everything I've said about Watkins, for me.
But here's the thing.
Also,
Prime, did you freeze up? Oh, but like Prime, here's what I'm trying to get at though. I don't know if you can hear me.
He's not.
He frozen for everyone else too?
Oh
yeah.
He's up like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll come out.
But going on to Prime's point, like part of the reason I would take Ollie Watkins is that ever since he's come to the Premier League, he's consistently been double-digit goals.
I'll be
consistently.
Real. I think Tony is more likely to create chances out of nothing when we're having those sort of shit games.
That's a good season, considering where we've been with strikers. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's cool. I think Tony is better at creating chances out of nothing for himself, personally. I think Watkins would rely more on a lot of service, which is fine if we can give him that service. But I think Tony, like, if you take away like the gambling and maybe you can question a little bit of his mentality, I think he's a really good footballer. But it's just like sometimes I see him do things off the pitch, like show off on social media and like try and like discredit Brentford and shit like that, and it kind of puts me off a little bit.
I was gonna say anyway, Marshall. I'm not sure how much you'd say you'd pay for Watkins, but like I don't think it's like a massive difference between Watkins and Jackson for goals. Maybe I think obviously Watkins would get more goals. I think he does, but how much would you even say he's worth? Because Jackson was worth 30 million to us. So
you know what it is with Watkins though? He is a natural striker. There's no debate.
Yeah.
Watkins is a striker.
I don't know.
It's not like there's no debate where it's like, oh, you know, is he better on the left wing, right? He's a striker.
Yeah.
Jackson, we've had convos about would he be better on the right striker?
Yeah.
Maybe something else because he's good at the hold-up play, but the finishing and the composure maybe, or the
it's the price for me with Watkins. That's about it. Like if it's like 50 something millions or 60 maybe, because he is English, so it's gonna add a little bit.
But Villa are gonna want 80.
Yeah, they're probably 180.
I would say Villa are probably gonna want 80.
And this is what I know Marshall's going, hey, this is why I say, you know, what to think of, you know, how much is Martinez. And I think, you know, if it's
he's not gonna, Chris. I genuinely.
I know, if he doesn't want to come to us, fair
enough. The feeding around Inter right now is the best it's been at years. Unless Inzaghi leaves, I don't see the players wanting to leave. I'll be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. But I'm just saying, if
we can actually, Real Madrid or something.
If we can actually somehow convince him to come to our like mess of a team right now, I would take it. But you know, it
costs a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it costs. I think it costs like 80 to 100 or something like that. But,
yeah. And like I said, like Watkins, we haven't heard any transfer rumors about. Oh, he wants to go somewhere like Villa, bro. They're gonna, like I said, they're gonna be playing Champions League, and they're gonna have money to spend this summer. That squad's gonna get better. Like they're gonna get in a right back. I think they've been linked heavily with Frimpong. That's gonna be disgusting, bro. That is an upgrade on Cash, on Matty Cash. Because Cash, you want to play him on the right midfield. He's a
they look more appealing than us.
Yeah, because Cash isn't a great defender, but like Frimpong there, that's gonna be nasty. Like Champions League, they're gonna buy some depth. Like it's gonna be. Yeah, I don't
know why Watkins will not come to Chelsea actually as well. Like you said,
I mean, I can't say that because I'm a Newcastle fan, but like,
yeah.
Well, you're not wrong.
If it matters, I think he's an Arsenal fan. If it matters,
it matters.
I don't even know that, but no, like it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, it's just again, like I don't disagree with what you're saying, Chris. At the same time, though, like I feel like Ollie, and I could be wrong. This could be actually delusional that I'm saying this, but this is my feeling, my hunch, is that I feel like Ollie Watkins is what I eventually want Jackson to be in terms of play style. Because I feel like when I see Ollie Watkins play, he's very involved with the match. He's always very involved with the game. And when he gets in those positions that we find Jackson finds himself in, he has that instinct to just strike at it. I don't think Ollie Watkins is as good as a dribbler as Jackson is, for example, but really outside of that, like I feel like their gameplay is very, very similar. But Ollie Watkins is, I would say, more of the finished product.
Bro, if Nico Jackson was at Villa, you'd under a good coach, obviously. Like, fuck it. All right, the Gathering's just making shit up, but big up Gathering. It's been a minute.
I'm back.
Yeah, Prime. I was just saying about Jackson. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson was like doing what Watkins was doing under Emery, because like he does. He is somewhat. What I would say though that Watkins is clear of Jackson enough is aerial dominance. Like
Aerial dominance.
Watkins will score goals with his head. Watkins will run into a group of a group of 3 center backs and dunk on them and score. Watkins will head the ball sideways, backwards, forwards to keep the counterattack move going. Jackson.
That's why I say Watkins is just older and has more experience, but I don't see him as being completely better because at the end of the day, they're both going to be backup strikers.
I don't know. I feel like Watkins could be a starter, and if developed well, he can really.
He's not developing though. He's 28.
Well,
thank you.
When I say develop, I mean if used properly, could go into his prime like really, really well. I feel.
I'll Steve a question quickly
about. Marshall, what was your question on? Sorry, your point. Sorry, Will. Your point with you're talking about like me taking Tony or something. What was your point?
Marshall, you're asking Prime about Tony and Watkins, something like that.
Yeah. I was saying like when it comes like if you don't have reservations for Tony, I don't see why you should have reservations for Watkins. Considering
I do have reservations for Tony.
Yeah,
I have major reservations for Tony.
But like you said, he wouldn't be your first choice, implying that you would take him, just he wouldn't be your first choice. Whereas Ollie Watkins, you flat out just said no.
I mean, my preference was I like for me, Osimhen's my only real choice. I look at the other strikers out there. I've got question marks on them. Tony, he's only had one season where people can say he scored goals, and people may try and use that argument for Osimhen. But Osimhen's been doing this consistently for a number of years. He's younger, and he's led his team to a trophy, to a title. Tony's not done any of that. He's played the majority of his career in the Championship. And people can say a Championship is tough, but with all due respect, I'm not going to compare the Championship to the Premier League or to the Serie A or any other major league. Yeah. Tony, and also it's also like it's also kind of a preference thing, like play style wise. I prefer Osimhen's style of play, and he's proven at doing that. Tony hasn't played in any sort of European competition. He's not played for England. He's not proven at doing it on that major scale. If people are going to criticize Osimhen for that Euros final, I've not seen Tony play on that stage to say he's any better.
I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, though, like you have to be impressed by what Tony and Ollie Watkins have done in their team, considering the teams they are in. You know, prior to Unai Emery, Ollie Watkins was still scoring double-digit goals in the league for as long as he's been at Aston Villa, and even at Bournemouth. Did he actually get double-digit goal while Bournemouth was Bournemouth?
Bournemouth, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, even at Bournemouth, he had impressive numbers, but that was in Championship. Jesus Christ, 25 goals.
Marshall, you said I should be impressed. I am impressed. I mean, it's good.
And same thing with Tony, by the way, considering the talent he's surrounded by and the managers he's had.
Yeah, but it's great doing it at that level, and that's fine. But and people like it kind of goes back to like when people talk about the Gerrard Lampard debate, and people say Gerrard's better because he's dragging a poor Liverpool team, quote unquote, which, if you remember growing up during those times, Liverpool were never considered to be poor. They were always in conversations to win the league. They just never did it.
Top team, also.
For me, I would rather take, if you're the best player amongst one of the best players amongst a great team, then you are better than being the best player amongst a quote unquote poor team or an average team.
Average one.
And I'd rather have that. I'd rather have someone who is leading his line to glory amongst other great stars, as opposed to someone who is who's doing well, but at a club who aren't also doing any. Like dragging your team in relegation fights is different than having to turn up when it matters to win a title.
I feel like that's disingenuous, though. I feel like that's disregarding the fact that there's so much talent in this player that he can do it despite not having the talent around him. If you bring someone like that to Chelsea, if you bring an Osimhen to Chelsea, like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, the talent in Napoli is good, but it's not what Chelsea had. Like, if Napoli had Enzo last season, if Napoli had well, I was going to say Raheem Sterling. No, never mind. But I'm just saying, like, if Napoli had like high caliber players like what Chelsea had last season, I feel like Osimhen, they would have probably won that Scudetto earlier. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They already won it early.
Hold on. So Marshall, so Napoli's team wasn't that good, and Osimhen was still able to shine and lead his team to something.
I'll be real. I can't like this. I don't really agree with that. I agree with your point, Marshall, but not the example you use. I can't lie. Like Napoli, I think Napoli were pretty as good as they could get last year. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Sure.
Their players outperformed us last year.
But what I'm trying to imply, though, is going back to what I was trying to imply, though, is that Aston Villa, despite the team around them, like they only just became a more quality side in the last 2 seasons.
With Emery,
like with Emery and to a certain extent, like Gerrard, but Gerrard just couldn't get the best out of that team. They were getting good players. They just couldn't get Gerrard just couldn't get the best out of that team.
Amara's a very good player.
But Brentford.
Yeah.
Outside of Mbumo and I guess you could say Wisa in that team right now, like Ivan Toney's been able to perform despite not having the talent around him. So if he were to come to Chelsea and have someone who could provide service like a Palmer and an Enzo, I would argue that would elevate his game to the next level. So
you're assuming so. He might just be a big fish in a small pond. You're assuming he'll be able to do it.
So why not put a big fish
look
in
at
a big
Harry
pond?
Kane. Everyone was saying Harry Kane, world-class striker. He'll go to Bayern. It's guaranteed they'll win the league title. They'll go win the Champions League.
That's disingenuous though, because he's still.
That's also disingegeous. Because he's still scoring a lot of goals at Bayern, even though they're not winning.
But he's also not. But I know that of course he is. He's also not turning up in big games. Steve, this is because I'm regurgitating what Steve's been saying about Kane. By the way, this is not my opinion. I think Kane's been brilliant for Bayern this season. But I'm saying what Steve said about him not turning up in big games for them.
Where was Harry Kane first like Lazio? Where was Harry Kane? Leverkusen 3-0.
I'm just so skeptical. Again,
where was he yesterday?
Again, if we get the right manager and he says he wants Ollie Watkins, you know what? I won't complain. Let the manager do it. It's his guy. Let him figure it out. But for us to say, let's not get the proven players and let's go for Watkins when our team is nowhere near ready, our team's nowhere near built, and we know Chelsea. We have a history of not signing the right strikers or signing the right profiles or only going for the big name and not doing it properly. If we get Watkins and we allow Arsenal and whoever is around us to sign these quality strikers and they end up winning things next season and we are still in 10th and 11th, what is the excuse going to be then?
No, I get that, but I feel like you could put that same exact argument for Osimhen. Like that could be that's like the argument for every striker that we bring in.
Which is why I'm not defending Osimhen here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not defending Osimhen. I'm saying get me the manager first and let him sort it out.
I get that. Yeah, you're right. But I feel like that even
the manager doesn't influence who we get. By the way, I don't think
1,000%.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be the directors 100%. But like, I even feel like that Kane argument, both of you, I feel like that's slightly disingenuous too. Because like, yes, I get it. He hasn't turned up for the big games, but Lewandowski also had games where he didn't turn up for the big games. And you look at the overall season, and you look at the goals, and you're like,
Marshall, here's the problem. From here on out, it's been since Leverkusen, since about that Augsburg win, when they won 1-0 about probably coming up on a month and a half ago. That's when I said on my Twitter, I'm like, these motherfuckers are winning the league. They are. Ever since then, every single Bayern game is a big game. Every single one of them. It is inevitable that he won't step up in them, but the problem is I need him to do it a little bit more often than not.
Yeah.
Why is Matisse Tell, 19, 20-year-old kid, scoring a golazo and Musiala scoring yesterday versus Freiburg, and Kane, We're worried.
That is.
Here's the
true.
thing,
But
Marshall,
that's-
right? With
But-
Bayern,
Real quick, Prime. But I will say, in the Leipzig game on my birthday, he stepped up and got the brace in the last minute. So there's the one game. But the problem is, in every single Bayern game, every one of them is a big game now.
Hey,
here's
Tell-
the thing,
Tell-
though.
I'd definitely take Tell just because how talented he is. I saw us last.
Oh yeah, I rate Matthias though. Here's the thing though, Marshall. What Bayern, like they've been. I know this season it's really showing and falling apart, and yeah, like it is on part of it is on Tuchel. But Bayern have been in a mess quite a while now.
Yes.
In terms of player recruitment and like what's going on in the board, and people thought we spend 100 million on Kane and it can paper over the cracks. That's how Chelsea fans have been thinking. I don't want it to be a case where, whether it's Osimhen or Gyökeres or whoever, I don't want it to be a case where people think, let's just spend this money on a striker and it papers over it.
Literally what we did with Lukaku.
That's why I want the right. That's why I want the right profile. That's why the manager matters to me so. If the manager wants Watkins, I swear you won't see me complain. Because all I care about is what the manager wants.
Clip it, guys. Clip it.
I'll be real. It doesn't matter. Again, though, it doesn't really matter who the manager wants because we're going to go for Osimhen, and if we don't get him, then it doesn't. Like Poch didn't pick any of these players this year. There's not a chance. Not one chance.
But then
I
again,
hate to say it. Go
Sorry,
ahead,
go on.
Steve.
I forgot my point
That's not,
anyways.
no, but that's not true though. Because
Yeah, the memory of a goldfish.
Hold on. You can say Poch didn't pick these players, but near the end of the summer window, he said he wanted players, he was offered players, and he rejected them.
Which
He
players?
was offered experience.
Vlahovic,
for example.
Vlahovic didn't want to join Chelsea either.
He didn't. That's true. He is staying, and by the way, he probably will stay at Juve.
Yeah,
probably will.
No, but whether or not he didn't want to leave, like it's irrelevant to this point. Poch said no.
He basically said no. Don't pursue him.
Didn't I swear that I saw a Fabrizio report saying that everyone above him also weren't convinced on a deal that satisfied both parties.
No. The deal
That was based on the Lukaku aspect, though, and the fee they wanted.
But that's still what's not going in for it.
The deal with Vlahovic was done. It was Lukaku that didn't want.
Was it? I don't remember a deal with. I don't think a deal with Vlahovic was done or anywhere close to being done. I think it was played down.
No, it was because the only
Wasn't it
one
meant to be a swap plus cash?
The only one who
I don't think
rejected it was
was
Lukaku.
I think it was a.
And obviously the Juve fans didn't want Lukaku, but like it was But yeah, anyway, my thing, Watkins I've got major question marks on. He shouldn't be like for a backup striker, he shouldn't be anywhere near our club. He's not better than Jackson. For Tony, I've got question marks on him. I like low key, I don't really believe he's an elite level striker yet, but he is the name that we're linked with. So
I hate to say this.
I take Vlahovic over Tony, but people don't want to talk about that.
I
hate to
read
say
this week by Jacob Steinberg that it's Osimhen, Ferguson, and Tony that we're looking at as of now. With Matt.
Here comes a prime.
Ferguson, man. God.
Leave Ferguson alone.
Ferguson Nation, man. Ferguson Nation. Let's go.
No, leave him alone, please don't. You guys will
Ferguson is a baller, but he's nowhere near ready.
Leave him alone. You'll kill him.
Not 100 million, please. No.
Yo, if he went to a Borussia, if Ferguson went to like a Borussia Dortmund and they get rid of Edin Terzic, like that would make sense. Actually, De Zerbi, that should be his next club. It should be Dortmund. That makes sense.
I think it's gonna be. I think it'll be AC Milan. I can't lie.
Or Milan, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Dortmund would be perfect because you can do the whole the bring in younger players and coach them and shit like that. They they want to win kind of ish, but that's the perfect. At Milan, like those fans, I talk with Milan fans every day. Those motherfuckers.
Ivan, people leave Ivan because if we buy Ivan Toney, we'll still need a striker ahead of him.
I disagree personally because I don't think strikers even like it is an issue, but I don't.
You're playing in Europe next year, I would agree.
No, but I mean Tony's not Tony. Evan Ferguson, like I don't think he's ready to be a number one at a big club.
No, I'm talking about Tony.
He's not even ready at Brighton.
We're talking about Ferguson. We're not talking about Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson. I think we are.
He's not even ready to play number one at Brighton, and plus he's had injury problems.
Yeah, João Pedro's been by the way, João Pedro.
leave my boy Ferguson alone, please.
But you know what they say, bro. But you know what they say, man. Don't worry, man. If Ferguson comes to Chelsea, they'll be like, he's better than Jackson. Don't worry. You know what I mean? But you know why next, so I'm not gonna continue on further.
I mean, Ferguson.
I'm gonna run the fattest agenda when Jackson ends up outscoring Ferguson this season.
Guys. Ferguson is a better striker than Jackson.
How?
I was.
Prime, get the Irish whiskey out of your mouth, man. All right.
Yeah.
Chill out, man.
Hey, yo.
But I do want to say this,
all right.
building off of what Prime was saying. I hate to say this, but I think what's gonna happen with this team is, even though you want a manager to, pick the striker and pick whatever he needs and whatever the manager wants to build, I think what's happening, at least this is the implication I'm getting, is that the directors are going to build a team how they want, and they're going to bring a manager that they think suits that team. 100%. I think they missed the mark with Poch. I think the idea was right. Get a manager that can develop players, but I think they severely overestimated how many players needed to be developed, and that Poch wasn't capable of developing this many players all at once without having some type of experience.
You see, the thing is with the directors there, I like that approach. I like the approach of them building a team and all that. The problem is they don't know what they want, because you look at their shortlist they had. What does Enrique and Nagelsmann have in common? What does Poch and company have in common? What does Poch and Postecoglou have in common?
Arne Slot as well.
These aren't the same type of managers. They don't play the same style of football.
No play style, no ethos, no philosophy.
There's no consistency there. So how are you supposed to build a team that lasts?
And the thing is, the way we've stockpiled all these young players, they don't suit any sort of system.
Yeah.
Enzo, Caicedo, like Palmer and all these guys. Like, obviously a manager needs to make it work, but it doesn't look like we've built towards anything. We've bought Kendry Paez, who's 15 years old. What has he been told? Yeah. 16, same thing. By the time he joins up with the squad in 2-3 years, what will the team look like?
Guys, Prime, to add to your point, bro, yeah, we brought in Madueke, we brought in Palmer, but we're now looking to bring in Olise apparently. Why are we bringing 3 different
that cannot happen.
But that's the point, bro. But you know that's what Chelsea's been doing, right? That's 3 guys we're looking at, and by the way, Angelo's there too. So that's 4 guys. We've got there.
Ahmed. We also have Amari Hutchinson.
And Amari Hutchinson.
We also have Diego Moreira.
We'll sell Hutchinson, by the way.
6, by the way. Look at
another
midfield. Look at the midfield, by the way. Look at our midfield. Enzo, Caicedo, Ugochukwu, Cassidy, Santos, Chukwemeka, Lavia. 8 man are there. What's happening?
I can't lie.
There's probably another 1 or 2 that we're forgetting.
Guys, do you know who I think we'll sign? I think we'll sign Nico Williams. I genuinely think we will.
That's a great sign.
I genuinely think we will.
Look at our forward lines. We signed last January. We signed Nacho Fofana. We then signed Jackson in the summer, and we also signed David Washington.
I get Petro Fofana to a degree, because that could just be a profit move. He was quite cheap, and we'll double our money on him. Like, some of those players, I think we're always going to be like for profit. But I also agree that we've stockpiled like way too many good talents.
Did not develop Mbappe. Let's not do this, please.
Mbappe wasn't developed by Poch.
Mbappe just had his best goal scoring season under Poch, or under Tuchel. Sorry, before that. Let's not.
Is Poch arguably Mbappe's worst coach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not arguable. He is.
Yes.
Listen, Will, you remember, even at PSG, I was like, this guy's a fraud. He's not going to do shit.
Yeah.
That was right.
Will, do you remember when Poch was at PSG?
And you and I get right twice a day. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, remember,
Get the fuck out of here, you filter. You're the worst.
Come on.
You're the worst. Fuck you.
Will,
shut up.
I don't know why you're piping up right now.
Will, do you remember when?
The Chiefs need me. They need me, bro. They need me. Free me.
All right. Fucking Mario Balotelli. All right.
Will,
why always me?
Will, do you remember when Poch was at PSG, and you and I were laughing at United fans, like Saeed, for saying that he should come to Man United. You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't hate Poch before this. I actually didn't mind him coming in because I thought he was a better option than the other willing to.
I hate Poch, man.
It is what it is, man. I think they were all terrible
They
choices.
know, man. They know.
Ahmed, what are you doing? You're not a super sub.
He finished the Jaeger bottle
Yeah, he's
off camera.
finished it.
Ahmed, is that one of your fake
Oh, and this man just went on Hussam stream too like that.
Ahmed,
Good shit.
got to
Good
have
shit,
fake
Ahmed. Good
accounts,
shit.
man, that tweet propaganda for him. It's got to be, man. That's one of his
Has
accounts.
to.
That's one of his.
No, it's not.
Ahmed, you told me
Yeah.
about them before, man. I know.
Listen,
you're
man, I don't.
That's too funny,
Yeah.
man. Oh my god. I mean, boys, this is an excellent. I didn't expect the stream to go this long, but this has been an excellent conversation. Is there anything else that we want to finish up on or bring up before we close it off?
Well, thanks for diverting it away from the game.
Anthony
Honestly,
Gordon.
bro.
I didn't want to watch this game, bro.
Anthony Gordon versus Chilwell.
You know what it is, by the way. I just want
Hey,
to.
Cucurella's come back on the bench, man. He's ready, man. He's ready.
Cucurella's not playing, bro.
I know, yeah.
Whoa! What a comment! What a comment! Pause.
Every stream that guy comes on,
my
bro.
God.
It's always insane. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
but
okay.
listen, I actually do want to say, guys, like obviously tomorrow's Sunday. Don't expect any news about Chelsea. Monday, don't expect any news about Chelsea. Our next game is on Monday against is it
Next
Newcastle?
Monday.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
Newcastle.
is.
All right, so obviously it's going to be against Newcastle, and I think apparently we've got 3 games in the next. So do we have the FA Cup game in that same week, or do we not?
Oh, after Newcastle, yes,
I think we have the FA
I
Cup.
think, wait, if I look at Chelsea's fixture, I'm actually surprised
Yeah,
about it still.
because like
Yeah,
we do.
Leicester's next.
Yeah.
yeah, so we don't have the FA Cup against Leicester. Then we have I don't know who we have after that. Is that Arsenal after that, or is it?
Burnley.
That I think
Burnley.
that.
So
Wow.
it's gonna be
30 of March, Burnley.
So it's basically going to be Newcastle, then Leicester, then Burnley. So listen, man, you got to pray that Leicester kill us, and then
Burnley,
maybe
27
because
days.
there's nothing to play for at that point, they're second. But listen, we're going to be with
That's
him
too
until
late,
the
man.
end. Yeah, but like, listen, we're going to be with him until the end. I think the real question has to be now: are these guys going to keep the guys at the top? If that's the case, then there needs to be some level of like, another guy on top of them that's going to control them at the very least.
Hey, yo, another guy on top of
Pause.
Hey, yo.
Okay, so another member, or you need to have like a actual like a boss above them, basically to actually say yes or no, of course. And I think the ownership need to realize or need to make some level of fundamental change to their school of thought, where we need to go buy out experience. But yes, if you want to do this project of keep on buying young players, okay. But first of all, please have the clubs ready for them. Make sure you've got Strasbourg. For example, you already have Strasbourg. Make sure you finish that Sporting Lisbon deal that you guys have been cooking behind the scenes. Buy yourself the other clubs that you're looking for, and then bring in these players that you want to have for these clubs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, I think on that note, I think we'll end it, ladies and gents. Appreciate you coming here. Oh,
can I just talk quickly? I've got one more thing to talk about, and that's for Marshall personally. Marshall, talk to me about your boy Osama ibn Taliban 2-2 against Freiburg. That's what I thought. Humbler. Football is a humbler.
Hey,
look at that EPL
I'll
speaking
defend
facts.
him for Marshall, man. I'll defend
Listen, at School of Thought.
What happened, Will?
Elevated the stream. I'm elevating the stream, man.
You're not
You know what I mean,
elevating the
man?
stream. You're not elevating the stream.
I'm elevating,
Respect
man.
your Champions League winner.
Listen.
Respect him.
Listen. Elevating the stream, man.
Respect.
You know what I mean?
Respect.
Listen.
Respect the man that brought your favorite player to this club.
He didn't
Raheem,
beat my favorite.
Raheem, Nikolai,
All right. £2 to
Jefferson,
get Marshall out.
Sterling.
£2 to get Marshall out. £2, please.
Marshall, as we're about to end, are we gonna place bets on Reese's next injury?
Yes.
I want because you guys know I get these things spot on. So
You do.
am I allowed to speak, or You not want me to
It's gotta be
jinx it
some
again?
sort of like sin or something, man.
Talk it. Go.
What do you say, Will?
Marshall, last comment.
This has got to be like some sort of sin. Let's not bet on a man's downfall, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Bet-
like,
Crazy.
Well,
One before that, Marshall.
you've known me for how many years? I'm not betting that.
Will. There's a reason why. There's a reason why Nigeria lost the AFCON
The
final.
hamstring is 110. This is bad.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
uh,
I don't get.
The
I don't
hamstring is
get
going
that.
in as an underdog. You know how the betting thing is the over/under is the under for the hamstring. It's
Uh,
110. It's not good.
Other
It's not
frogs,
looking good.
other frogs say just lie and say he'll never be injured again. Okay, you know what? Let me try this.
Oh my days.
have you talking about Reece James?
Reece-
Though? You not seen Reece James? Though? You only seen Reece James? Like he looks like he's lean. He's lean now. He's not. You can't do this.
Hey,
over
Chris,
Reece James.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Reece James, but I saw Lukaku get lean, man, and you know he didn't last.
No, but like, yeah, and Reece has
see,
been
man.
lean before under
Chris.
Tuchel. And
Chris,
Oh God.
Chris, Reece James looked lean back in the summer. I remember
Some
Chelsea
witches had.
fans.
Yeah,
I remember
you're
Chelsea
right.
I remember Chelsea fans were atting me and DMing me pictures of Reece James saying, "Hold that prime. He looks in shape.
Chris-
Hold that."
Chris
No, he's
likes
always
the
in
lean.
shape.
Can't
No,
believe
the thing is, even at his normal weight anyway, he's not out of shape
Hey,
anyway. He's just
listen,
not. But
Chris
Chris likes them
normal
lean.
weight.
maybe
Chris-
I like
Chris likes them
85
lean,
kg.
no fat.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Listen,
like
Oh, fat.
yeah, he's normal weight.
85 kg seems the perfect
Oh,
weight for him.
fucking
Anyway.
hell.
Traore
Feels like he's about
protein
80 now or
bars.
something.
All I'm gonna say is this.
He's
All
a
I'm gonna
big guy
say is this.
naturally.
Reece James pictures in the gym. Listen, you can't fool me. I'm too familiar with your game.
Listen, man, Reece James pictures in the gym. That's Chris's work bank. You know what I mean? That's Chris's like he puts that behind his sheet.
What that means is you can't fool me taking a couple of pictures and a vid in the gym when you're just going to be fat in the next week or two.
You know what's crazy? We all know, man. That's
Wait,
what Chris-
what is going on? Listen, let me close out the stream. This is getting crazy, bro. This is getting crazy.
Chris,
My head's
Chris
not in the right
watches-
place.
Wait. Chris watches Reece James vids while he's shagging a sheep.
Right. All right. No, we're done. We're done. Ladies and gents, smash the like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell notification so you're notified whenever we do go live. Check out the links in the description so you can find other content on there. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts on everything that we're discussing. Ahmed, calm down, bro. This is crazy. All right. And always, no, stop. I will put you all backstage. And be sure to check out the memberships. Be sure to check out the memberships. 4 different tiers starting at 99p. Big up to everyone. Also, if you are at the casually, Jesus Christ, a proper casual and higher tier, you get a shout out. Felipe Courtois, B-Man, God of Frogs, Gabriel A, Orizon Editar, Hassan Nawaz, A Solomon, Uncle Jester FC, Will, Adrian, Scott, Dark, and OG Turbo Jesus and EE. Thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you everyone else who also supports in the memberships as well. Big up to Flawless and Sarcasm City. We're going to go ahead and raid him, so copy and paste that raid message, let him know where you're coming from, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea show. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay casual. Big up Steve as well. Check out his content. Have a good night. Stay casual. Peace.
Fuck you, Ahmed.